Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's your number one Chief Rock Knicks Universal main man, Uncle Freezy. I'm joined by Chief M3 is in the building. Mr. Hinton Murphy. What's good, boss?
What's going on? What's up? What's up? I'm outside just taking a walk, so that's why you see me in these dark places.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Hey, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I hadn't had the chance to connect with you after the season to talk
Mm-hmm.
with you about how things ended and how your fandom is impacted by the way that we lost. And so I'm interested to get your thoughts on maybe recap how the end of the season went for you. And were you disappointed? Were you encouraged? Or wherever you want to go with it. Just talk about it, bro.
I'm a little encouraged and I'm both at the same time, right? Because excuse the noise. I'm encouraged because they played shorthanded and they got as far as they did shorthanded. But at the same time, I'm disappointed because you lost to the Pacers and you really, even with all the changes, you didn't get past the point of what you did last year. So it really wasn't productive at the same time. If you know
Right,
what I mean.
right,
So
right,
that's the issue I have that wasn't really progress.
right, 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 right. So what was it? So the disappointing part clearly is that we lost and that we were shorthanded.
Yeah,
And
we lost to
the encouraging part was clearly signs pointed towards us being a better team than we anticipated, right?
yep,
Right.
definitely.
So what do you stand right now? What do you think the Knicks need to do right now in order to build on where they left off?
Oh man, that's the hard part because if you stay the same with the same team, that's stagnation,
Right.
right? So
Right.
because nothing changed, so
Right.
something has to change. But what that is, I really don't know in the big picture of things. They need some youth. Obviously, they need another center, another point guard,
Right.
right? Because you got to have somebody take over for Deuce, and I got these two dogs right here, right? I got these two. So with Deuce, you got to put Deuce in a position, to stay the same. You know what I'm saying? Just a little better because he's really. I always say he's an undersized shooting guard, right? So you
Okay.
need a, so you need to get a point guard for him that's a little bit taller. At the same time, that's about 6'4", 6'5".
Right.
And then they need another center because you have no idea if Hardenstein is going to come back, and we always know Mitch is injured,
Right.
right? So Sims is not going to cut it because he really didn't progress last year. He didn't make any he didn't make it hard for the guys to give him more minutes. So
Right.
I think you're going to have to get a center, a real center.
Okay. Okay. Salute to everybody in the chat. Salute to Sherwin, Ivory 10. Hit him up is in the chat. Jet Life for Life is in the building.
Peace.
Boulevard 73 is in the building. Hey, salute to everybody in the chat. Salute to everybody watching. Happy Father's Day.
Yep.
To all the males having an impact on the community. Salute to all of y'all. Yeah, man. So team need. I think we said it casually, but the way you saying it, I think is kind of important.
Oh yeah, very
Right,
important
right,
because
right,
they're gonna have because now they have cap issues because they're touching the first apron. So it's real important now that because the higher up you go in terms of the money that you spend, the less you can do.
right,
So you don't want to get like there's always trades to be made, but you just don't want to get stuck. You don't want to be in a Clippers situation. You don't want to be in a Warriors situation. You don't even want to be in a Celtics situation in a couple of years because they're gonna get stuck because they're paying everybody and they haven't even paid Tatum yet. They gave
right,
Drew money. They gave KP money. They gave Brown his money. Now you got to give Tatum his money.
right, right.
So you know, our guys are coming up too. So this is going to be very interesting to see because the league is getting more like football, where you get new champions every year. And new teams are coming up, and you're not going to be able to spend the money that you want to spend. You're going to have to start making cuts because of the cap situation with these teams.
So I have two questions for you, right? I'm gonna say one, and then I'll leave room for you to think about the other.
Okay.
Right, right. Um, Question number two, I'll say first. It came to me second,
Hmm.
right? My first question was, um, how does money equate to productivity? Right, that was the first thing I thought of, but I want you to answer that one second.
All
Right,
right.
the second question that I'm going to ask first is based on the last statement that you made, and that is, um, what does money matter to a fan base that is winning championships?
Money is the most important thing because they don't. Because as you can see, remember when they were in the early 2000s when Dolan was spending $100 million on the team, they wasn't going nowhere,
Right,
right? So you know that he was the high. He had the highest payroll, and they weren't doing anything. And that's with Q Rich and all of those teams. He was spending $100 million on those teams. You know, and that was the highest at the time. So it's very important because, like I said, you got to have talent. And even though those guys were talented, they couldn't win. So it was some of everything. So, but the thing is now that all the highest teams have all the talent now, the
right,
right talent. So you know it's a double-edged sword, but it's still you got to pay to play. That's the rule.
right. And well, the thing is, and I know it's going to sound peculiar for me to say this as a Mets fan, but I've watched Steve
Mm-hmm.
Cohen spend a lot of money over the past 3 years, and it
Yep.
ain't equate to nothing,
Nope.
right?
Remember, and I'm a Yankee fan, so remember when George was spending the money back in the '80s, you
Right.
know, and they weren't winning either.
Yeah, they were signing Danny Tartable and a whole bunch of dudes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
You know,
man.
so I
Um,
remember
I, I
those
would
days.
I would say this: if the Knicks win a championship, Dolan wouldn't care if he spent $500 million in payroll, bro.
That's a fact. But you know what? It has to be done still. So we got to see
Right,
it so it still has to manifest that way.
right. Well, no,
Because
that's the reason why I said if, though.
I think he'll pay it. Like I don't like if they win the championship. I think, man, I think that this is a nice window that they have, but they just got to stay healthy. You know, they just got to stay healthy now. So that's the
Right,
most important thing.
right, right, right. So the reason why I'm asking is because the Boston Celtics haven't won a championship in a long time, right?
16 years.
Yeah, that's a long time for the Celtics, bro.
That's
That's
true.
that's like 50 years for the Knicks, bro. You,
But
you know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
well, what we on 1973.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like going on 52 years.
we're on 51 now, 52. Yep, yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
That's more than I've been. That's more than I've been living. So
yeah,
I never seen them win. So
yeah.
it is
Um,
what it is.
yeah. I'm not going hold you for the sake of the conversation. I just want
Mm-hmm.
to keep it right there in that context and say, man, Boston right now is on the verge of becoming a dynasty. I
Yeah,
know
but
a
see,
lot of people don't. A lot of people don't agree
yeah, I
because they
don't agree
think
with
about the
that.
price tag,
Yeah,
right?
I don't agree with that because even though they have Tatum and Brown, like I said, eventually they're gonna have to break the team up because they won't have to break them two up. They're gonna have to break the team up because of the money they spend. They're not gonna be able to pay all these guys. So they do have I say a 2 year window. I think that's what we're looking at now. From now on, you'll see these teams that have to spend the money be in these 2 year windows of winning. And if you don't win, you're gonna have to break up the team because they want you to learn. They want it to be like the NFL in college where they want you to start developing your talent on the back end and coming up that way. And it's good for the team at the same time because you need to build up a lot of these kids. There's more talent ever in this league. So and they also want to expand. They want to put two more teams in there. So you're not.
Right,
So they're forcing you to do everything at one time.
right, right.
Like
Well,
they're making you do everything.
yeah. Well, the thing about Boston though is, regardless how they dissect that team, they're not
Hmm.
trading away Tatum and Brown,
No, not
right?
yet.
Yeah, nah, they not. And two, if the window is 2 years and they're up 3-1 in year one, if they're one game away from being a champion, right?
Hmm.
And then say year two they lose in the finals, is that still not dynasty level franchise?
Well, they are a dynasty. They've been to 6 of the last 8 conference finals.
Right.
So that's like the Pistons. Remember in the early 2000s, they went to 6 straight.
Yeah.
They only won one championship. That was a little bit of I'll call it an Eastern Conference dynasty. I don't really want to call it that. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
not really a dynasty unless you win.
Right.
But
Right.
but they the Celtics have been the team the last 8 years. And think about it, they really should have won last year. Well, they should have got to the finals last year. They played with their food and
Yeah.
wound up losing.
Yeah.
That's where you mess around and find out.
And the Tatum injury in game seven
Yeah,
to kind of and ten
but
game seven of the Eastern Conference final. Yeah.
but they
Yeah.
should have never. It should have never got to that point because they were better than Miami.
Right.
And actually, they should have been playing us because we factually we were better than Miami last year.
Uh hmm. We'll have to debate that one. I want
Yeah,
to
we
debate you
could.
on, I want to debate you, but at a later time. I want to talk to you about the dynasty thing, right? With the Celtics. Where the Celtics are right now is where a lot of most franchises wish they were, right?
Yeah.
Because just Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown at their age and their accomplishments have not even started their prime yet. These dudes are 26, 25, 26 years old, want to be 27 when the season starts. So these next 5 years of that duo together is going to be impressive. Now, the thing I'd like for people to realize and look at is they won a lot of games without Kristaps Porzingis, and he is
Mm-hmm.
paid a lot of money,
Yep.
and if they can win with 30+ million dollars missing off their cap, that means they can win with 30+ million dollars missing off their cap, if you feel me, right? The thing is, I think they're so good. Their coach is young, right? Their front office is young. Their
He was a
core
coach too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So they had everything is prime for the Celtics to go on that magic carpet ride that a lot of franchises wish that they could go on. But the Knicks, however, have a slightly older. I guess Leon Rose is average age for his position, right? Like early 60s, whatever. Tibbs is old for his position. The Knicks style of play is um
It's current because they shoot threes. So
no. I mean with the players that they have a lot
they
of
have,
the Knicks
they're a
have a lot of
middle-aged team.
untraditional players.
They're a middle-aged team. You
Yeah,
know,
and
they're
oh, I'm
the
sorry.
guys are like the stars are like right in their prime because Brunson is 27, Randall's 29, Hart is 29. They're not old, but then Dante is what 27, 28.
27. Yeah, yeah,
So they're in their prime, but they're middle aged. They're not young because they're not 25 and younger, and they're not
yeah,
old because nobody on the team is old except for Burks and Bogey. They're over 30.
yeah.
So
And the reason why I bring that up is because as good as Jalen Brunson or as great as Jalen Brunson is, his margin of error is probably the smallest of any star in the NBA.
that's a
Right?
fact.
Like Jalen Brunson, when Jalen Brunson's shot is not going,
Hmm.
he's probably a negative asset when his shot is not going, right? And it's not and that's no disrespect to him, but say if a Luka Doncic's shot is not going, Luka can rebound, be an assist man, and do some other things, with the basketball or without the basketball. Same thing with SGA and Giannis and Joel Embiid and others. Now, how often does Jalen Brunson's shot be off like that? Not really that often, right?
Hmm.
He's not really. You don't see Jalen Brunson go through 4, 5, 6 game shooting slumps. That's one of the
No.
things that's great about Brunson, right? Like
Hmm.
I'm sorry.
I'm muting myself because it's windy.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Now, the thing about Jalen Brunson is he may be cold in a game and then warm up in a game, But Jalen Brunson is not gonna basically go through like a 10-game shooting slump where where you have to figure out what's wrong with Jalen Brunson's offense. That's one of the
Oh,
good things about having Brunson.
but that's another thing. Also another reason why there's tape. You can see what's going on. And fix yourself that way. So it's going to be interesting to see because, yeah, Brunson does have a size issue. Being 6'1" or 6 foot, doesn't help you. All the guys you talked about are 6'6" and plus.
Yeah,
So, that's the advantage. His advantage is that he has to play with his IQ. He plays with his IQ. He's a smart basketball player.
right,
So he's a high IQ basketball player. And the one thing that we know about basketball is that you don't have to be the most athletic to be good.
right,
It
right,
helps. But,
right.
even the most athletic guys have issues because, they got, I would say, jump shot issues and ticks in the shot and all kind of other things because,
Injury issues.
yeah, that too. Because you know, they, they're more talented than you. So some of the basic things they don't have to do. They can just beat you, with they're just, they're raw, born gifts.
Right,
A lot of these guys can get out of bed and play basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like you'd be
right,
surprised. You know
right,
that a lot of them don't need no practice. Like Allen Iverson, that's a get out of bed and I'm gonna get you 30.
right,
I'm gonna
right,
drink all night, do what I do. I'm gonna show up and get 30. Like Michael Jordan, same way.
right, right.
So
Like
you
Charles
know,
Barkley, even though he was short,
yeah,
he still had a physical advantage over
yeah,
most of the people he played.
yeah.
Right,
Six.
Charles Barkley had the speed, strength, quickness, agility,
Mm-hmm.
power aspect for a
Yep.
shorter player, and he could still dominate guys 4 or 5 inches taller than him.
Yeah, he can hang out and do what he do.
Yeah, Jalen Brunson can't do that though.
Nah, he can't do that. Nah, he's not one of those guys.
Yeah, yeah, and one would even say that Julius Randle has a small margin of error also when his
Yes.
jump shot is not going.
Mm-hmm.
When Randle's jump shot is not going, then Randall can legit maybe be moved or have less of an impact on a game if his jump shot is not going. And
Also, Randall has an issue because his arms are shorter than like I don't. They're not long. Like he's 6'9" or 6'8", but he doesn't have like a 7'3" wingspan. He might have
right,
like I think his wingspan is just 6'9".
right.
So he's at a disadvantage himself. So you could
You,
honestly say he's an undersized power forward.
you know what I always thought about the wingspan thing?
Mm-hmm.
I think the wingspan thing is overrated.
It could be, but it would help. It does
And
help.
the reason why I say it's overrated is because generally guys with longer wingspans use that for defending or dunking layups or whatever. But guys with shorter arms tend to have better handles, right? And I don't know if that's science. I don't know if it just seems that way that guys that have if you're a 6'9" with a 6'9" wingspan, you have better handles. If you're a 6'2" with a 6'2" wingspan, if you're a 6'2" with a 6'3", 6'4" wingspan, you tend to have better handles than a guy that's 6'2". Like, give an example. Two former Knicks that had extremely long wingspans, but their handles could be questioned. Right. One is Emmanuel Quickly, and the other was Frank Ntilikina. Right. Right. So for 6'4" guards, however tall Quickly is, 6'3", 6'2",
Mm-hmm.
however tall he is with a long wingspan, you could question the way that he dribbles versus a Kyrie where he may have a neutral wingspan, but his handles are maybe possibly, greatest of all time caliber.
But we could put that one on the back end too.
Yeah, yeah, I see the wheels turning, man. We gonna have to see Chief, this is what happened when we don't get together for a long time, bro. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah, and
So,
then you could text me, but like I told you earlier, with my ex account suspended right now, it is what it is. So I can't.
Yeah, they wild. Elon Musk is wilding, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Um, um. So I get the vibe that you are not pro run it back.
No, there has to be a couple. You know, you could say twin. I have the vocabulary and I can't even use it right now. But just a couple things on the end. You
Tweaks.
you gotta tweak it. You gotta tweak it and tinker with it a little bit.
Okay.
You
Who are your ideal fits in your tweak?
I think it's more of youth more than anything because
Okay.
I think it's more just doing the draft pick thing more than and teaching them to come up, instead of going with Burks and whoever else they do. So for me, I think that's the way to go because you need the bodies because they're gonna run out of bodies. Even though we finally heard this week how practice really goes with Tibbs, how he turns it down as the season goes, and it's more of a mental test more than anything.
Right. Right.
But
Right.
the grind of the 82 game season, and then the playoffs, you just need the bodies.
Right.
So that came to manifest this year. They needed everybody, which is always true. You do need everybody, but they really needed everybody. And then it was sad because they didn't have the bodies really at the end because I don't know what they were doing with the Toppins and the Jeffersons and like if you can't play those guys, what they on the team for?
Yeah, what did these dudes hit? And so okay, so all right. So I tried to avoid that, but I don't know if you meant to put a rock in my shoe or if you meant to put a thorn in my thumb, but you did accidentally. Friendly, of course. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Yeah. Um, I don't know why you had those dudes. Daquan Jeffries, Charlie
Mm,
Brown Jr., Dwayne Washington Jr., and that stupid cast he been wearing for like 2 years,
yeah.
right? Jacob Toppin.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you need 26, 27 year olds at the end of your bench if they can't contribute to the everyday roster? And
Get
why are
minutes
they
in the
always
game.
hurt? If they're
Yeah.
always hurt, why do you have them?
Doesn't make any sense.
It don't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Right? It don't make sense. And I'm not listen, I know you have to add quality depth at the end of the bench, something that fits the culture, guys that buy in, is gonna do what the coach say. But if these dudes aren't available, like for instance, I don't care nothing about seeing Dwayne Washington Jr. on the injury report. What is he
Yeah.
here for?
Nope. Yeah. What are they all here for? If you can't play in the game, why are you on the team? If you
If
can't,
you can't play or you can't practice?
mm-hmm. If Tibbs can't give you minutes, even in a playoff situation, there's no reason for you to be on the team. And it's not to mess with those guys because if they want to watch us, but it's two sided, man. If you can't, if Tibbs can't put you in the game in a critical situation when they need you, and
Right.
are you smart enough to even be on the team really? Because why he can't put you in the game,
Right. Right.
and he can't be scared to put you in the game. That's
Right.
on him too.
Right. I don't know if that is that a Leon Rose thing in your opinion, or is that a Tom Thibodeau thing
No,
in
that's
your
a
opinion?
Tibbs. That's a Tibbs thing.
Okay. Okay. So you
Because
think Tibbs wants to keep some tough, hard nosed guys around in order to keep the culture crispy, right? Practice on the plane, veteran, solid guys.
mm-hmm.
You don't have to worry about rookies, where they at, are they here on time, low maintenance guys like Ryan Archidiakono,
Yeah.
low maintenance guys that you know.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. If if I'm Leon Rose though, and I said this during the Quentin Grimes draft,
Mm-hmm.
that they should draft 3 or 4 guys and stash them at the end of the bench and just fill up the roster with veterans. Like
Yeah.
I was for Evan Fournier and Kelly Oubre. When they signed when they signed Evan Fournier,
Okay.
right?
I liked Oubre too. I talked about him with Gmo when I was doing the show. I've always talked about Kelly Oubre. I even talked about Jalen Brunson before he got here.
Okay.
So it is what it is. But those are the type of guys that you need. But see, Kelly Oubre really cost too much. I think Philly got him for cheap last year. So
Yeah, they got him for cheap last year.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the
Yeah,
price.
and I think we should have went after him last year too, but
Mm-hmm.
um you know, I think Leon Rose's thing is build it one step at a time. You don't want to overlap in certain areas because you don't want to diminish the potential of another player. And I get that. But this is his fifth off season,
Yep.
right? This is his fifth off season. All the stuff about building and establishing and stuff. You can't talk to me anymore about yo. I've seen a
Nah.
president of the United States serve 4 years, bro.
Yeah, it's time to win now. Like,
Yeah, man.
like
Yeah, man.
they've been in the playoffs 3 out of the last 4 years now. So it's time to win the whole thing.
It should have been there 4 years in a row,
Yeah.
right? But the Kimba Walker signing, COVID hurt us real bad. A lot of injuries to
Mm-hmm.
Derrick Rose, Kimba.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that Julius was off,
yeah,
so it was
yeah.
just a whole mess. You know.
Julius
So
had that thigh injury that hampered him all season, but he wouldn't sit. Remember that?
yeah, that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he wound up missing the last. I think he wound up
Yeah.
missing like the last 12 games of the season.
Yep. And that's when Obi got his minutes, and
Yeah,
he thought
yeah,
he was gonna come into the next season again.
yeah. Ivory 10 says
I think I
Tiz
just
doesn't
got a
want to
phone
see.
call.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
I just
Oh,
got a phone call. Somebody interrupted me.
okay. All right.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Hold on, Freezer. I can't hear you right now. Hold
Okay.
on.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that season we missed the playoffs. There were a lot of injuries, a lot of stuff going on. Anytime you have to start Ryan Arcidiacono and Damian Dotson, things are going kind of in a weird way.
Yeah.
But things are what they are. We're past that now. We're a
Mm-hmm.
second round team. Looks like we're a second round team for the foreseeable future. And I mean as a floor. I don't mean as a ceiling.
Yeah.
Um, it looks like we're a second round team for the foreseeable future. Um, I think the crucial thing is like one of the things that you point out was ball handling.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think what we've lost is that primary ball handling is a group affair, right? When we hear primary ball handling, a lot of times people think it's one person, and
Mm-hmm.
that's no team that you've ever seen that was successful had one primary ball handler ever.
No.
It never worked.
Nope. That's. I don't want to bring up it, but that's the problem with the Lakers. LeBron has the ball too much,
Right, right,
and he's 40 years old. But
right,
in the big picture, the guy, if you got one guy handling the ball all the time, you're not a championship team to me. And that's like Luka's. Like that's the same thing with Luka. You see, when they play team basketball, he gives up the ball. Like they're better. You can't have these guys dominating the ball anymore like that.
right,
As talented as they are.
right, right. Yeah, on that Lakers point, because I think the same thing exists for Atlanta.
Yeah, with
My
Trey
turn,
Young.
your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn. And with the Lakers, you see when they take the ball out of LeBron's hands and put it into Austin Reeves' hands, it's still the same thing. One person being the primary ball handler attacking against five sets of eyes, and it
Yeah.
doesn't work.
No, he's not good enough anyway to be
Yeah,
put in that
he's
position.
undrafted, right?
No, I think he's a late round pick.
Okay,
I remember
okay,
him at Oklahoma. I thought he was a good pick in Oklahoma. The Lakers did a good job picking him.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Speaking of prospects, bro, because I have a thing about Atlanta that I want to get into, man, but I don't want to get into it here. About how Atlanta has the number one pick and they're trying to figure out a way for the number one pick to come in and be their fourth or fifth best player. I think that's the stupidest thing I ever heard in my life, bro. You
The
have the
whole
number.
Most rookies are the fourth or fifth best player coming into the league. Unless they're the generational guys. You know, when you think about it, but most of the guys are generational that come in. So
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
who's the last one that wasn't like really generational?
Ooh, I
Because
don't know.
Zion is generational, Wimby's generational.
Cade.
Yeah, he might, but
I
he's
think Cade. I think Cade is good. I watch
yeah,
Pistons games, bro.
yeah.
The
Kate is
Pistons are just man. The Pistons are just trash,
yeah,
bro.
it's just a trash team, but yeah, he's generational. Yeah, there's a like yeah,
Did you see? Did you see the Celtics game where he took the Celtics to overtime, and Cade was throwing like these backdoor passes to the cutters, like the cutters would start and then they would stop in the mid range, and Cade would throw the ball out of bounds, and then they looking at Cade. Cade threw the ball away, and Cade actually read the defender, read his player, and
mm-hmm.
his player
Stop.
saw that the defender turned his head and wouldn't cut back door. Cade throw the pass, and Cade gets the turnover.
You know who says that all the time? Gilbert Arenas. He says these guys they don't cut enough.
Right, right, right,
He said they'll
right,
just the way the league is. And also Nick Young, he calls them corner boys. All they do is just stay in the corner.
right. That's
Like,
all they do.
that's all they do.
Right.
You can't do anything else. The coach really got you. He doesn't give you enough responsibility that all you could do is just stand in the corner.
On that note, what I'm gonna say something controversial. Um, I think coaching is at an all-time low right now.
I
I think we're in the worst era of college and NBA coaching that we've ever seen.
I think the players too, because they all go to the same trainers.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
talking to my brother about this because my nephew actually plays, but he's older, but he's 24, 23 actually. But he but they don't play 21. They don't develop their games. They
right,
don't play. They're not outside enough, and then when they do, they practicing these moves, and they all kind of look like James Harden when they go into the bucket. With the
right,
step overs and like they're all cookie cutter basketball players. And then
right,
think about this: when we was watching, even in the '90s, every team had a different style. Like
yeah,
the Jazz didn't play like the Knicks, who did not play like the Rockets, who did not play like the Suns, who did not play like the Bulls, who did not play like the Warriors.
right,
The coaches did something different. So you had to really study. You
right.
know,
And when similar teams actually played each other,
mm-hmm.
it was war.
Yep, like the Knicks and the Heat.
Yeah, like when two similar
Yeah,
teams met up with each other, it was like two bulls meeting at the mountaintop. Somebody got
mm-hmm.
to go
Yeah,
because you already know what plays they're gonna run. You
mm-hmm.
already know exactly what the other team can do because y'all mirror images and you practice against it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But everybody right now has the same type of style. You don't have the same players, but you still have the same players because it all looks the same. Like,
yeah, right. So I think there are a few teams that are different.
but yeah, Boston doesn't play like Dallas because Boston plays that 5 out really. With
Yeah,
with Porzingis now, which this is why it's not fair. You know what I'm saying for them. That's why they're gonna win
right,
because now I know you treat the center like running back, right? But in my analysis, what makes the Boston Celtics difference is Porzingis because he opens the floor for everybody else. Now, yeah, they shoot threes, but the fact that he shoots, but the fact that he stands out there leaves it an opportunity for everybody to still go to the basket if they really want to, because that center can't leave him. So you can't really guard the rim like that.
So I disagree with you a little bit only on the Porzingis part because
Mm-hmm.
I think Al Horford presents some of the Porzingis stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, he's not as good as Porzingis. That's not what I'm saying. But Porzingis missed 25 games in the regular season and 10 games in the playoffs, and Boston still made the NBA Finals.
Right, but they do. But this is the thing that's similar. They do the same thing. They spread the floor.
You
So
mean
you,
the system, like the system they
yes,
run?
the system
Yeah,
they run.
right. And just but the point that I was going to make is because I get it. They run the above the 3-point line 5 out system
Mm-hmm.
where you see their center at the
Mm-hmm.
top of the key a lot. and he's a threat to cut,
Mm-hmm.
dribble, pass, or shoot.
And he,
Right.
and they play and they can stick him on the base on the corner too because he can
And
because
yet,
Horford he can hit that three.
yeah, but they don't do Porzingis. And I know this is gonna sound crazy, but they don't put Porzingis over there because his feet too big. Those
Yeah,
corners, those corners for guys like the big tall guys, big foot guys, they
yeah.
not really gonna. But to your point, Al Horford, guys
Mm-hmm.
like that, they can occupy that space, and they
Mm-hmm.
run that system regardless if Porzingis is there or not. So you have to respect it, and then when Porzingis comes back, you plug him right back into that system that you had already been running, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like Porzingis never left,
Yeah, and
right?
then also what makes him dangerous too is that he and you saw it in game one when they put him at the free throw line. He just shooting over everybody because you can't
Yep.
bother him. You can't bother his shot. You can't put no guard on him. At the
Right.
same time, and you think you're getting away. You can't get away with that. So that's what makes him, the cheat code for them.
Yeah, and centers are too clumsy,
Mm-hmm.
right? Centers get in when centers get out of space, when
Mm-hmm.
centers get away from the rim where their physicality can be seen, they
Mm-hmm.
still are bumpy and touchy,
Yeah.
right? And guys like Joel Embiid and Porzingis absolutely eat right there because bumpy, touchy centers away from the basket are
Mm-hmm.
bumpy, touchy guys away from the basket, and it's easy to catch them putting their hand in the cookie jar.
Yep.
Yeah. So, with that said, I want to talk to you about Kyle Filipowski real quick.
Okay.
Have you researched any of the guys in the draft?
Uh, I've looked at some of the guys, but I only watch really like the top 25. Any really body after that, I really don't check out because you're like on the borderline in the league. I'm aware of you, but I'm not really watching you.
Oh, okay. 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 What I was gonna say about that is, um, there are a few guys. I personally think the draft is deep, right? But I don't
Hmm.
think you're gonna get a Michael Jordan out of this draft,
No,
right?
this is. I would say it's like the Giannis draft. But nobody knew who Giannis was. But it's like that type of draft where
Right.
there's no number one guy. But if he winds up being a 15 player, you're not going to be surprised. But you would be surprised because you're not expecting that out of this draft. Yeah, everybody's like the same.
Yeah, that Giannis draft I think had Wiggins, Jabari Parker, Joel Embiid, Julius Randle, a bunch of guys like to in my opinion, and I'm biased, right? In my opinion, Julius Randle was the number one player in the country, right?
Well,
But
probably.
but at Kentucky, he played through a stress fracture in his foot, right? And at the workout, he played through that same stress fracture, and then he got to the Lakers, and then the unfortunate injury in his rookie season and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Jabari Parker was a scoring machine,
Yes, he
right?
was.
He was a scoring machine, but outside of scoring, he really didn't offer you as much as you wanted from a guy with all that talent. There were times when I watched Duke play that season, and I'm a
Hmm.
Duke basketball fan, everybody. So I don't go to I'm a Duke fan because I started watching Duke in the hood of Jersey City back like in the early 80s when I moved down south. I didn't go to Duke games or whatever. I go to Gamecock games. It's why I know so much about It's the reason why I knew that Anthony Edwards was gonna be Michael Jordan. It's the reason why I knew Emmanuel Quickly is a NBA point guard. Right. It's because I live down here and I can go to Athens, Georgia, Columbia, South Carolina, Knoxville, Tennessee, or whatever to go watch these guys live, right? But the Jabari Parker thing at Duke at times, you didn't know who Duke's best player was. It could have been Jabari Parker, or it could have been a name that I know a lot of people forgot about, a dude named Rodney Hood. Like
Right.
Rodney Hood legit was a 6'8" all around shooting guard that moved to transition to small forward in the NBA. but that man could do it all, right?
I
On
think
on
last year was his first year out the league. I think last year was his first year out the league.
Yeah, man, and
He
that
played
was
that
that
long.
was years ago too.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, man, Rodney Hood was, but the point that I'm getting at about this draft is, I think there are going to be about 7 or 8 Rodney Hoods in this draft, right? Like the dudes that can get you about 14 points a game, dribble,
Hmm.
pass, and shoot, defend, at a decent level, right? I
Hmm.
think there are a couple of Brandon Roy guys in this draft where people are going to sleep on them because they never heard of him,
Hmm.
and then he's going to go somewhere and just be dynamite. Like I legit think there is a Jamal Crawford in this draft. Hey, salute
Okay.
IKBM Dre. What's good, bro? I think there is a Jamal Crawford in this draft. The
Hmm.
kid, AJ Johnson. You remember Amir Johnson, the
Yeah.
skinny power forward? His son
Hmm.
is in this draft,
Okay.
and his son has got some J crossover stuff to him. Not completely, because there'll never be another Jamal Crawford. Let me
He,
just
he played in
restate that.
Australia, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so. New Zealand, whatever it is, like where,
Yeah.
somewhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think this draft is so deep.
Hmm.
It's like the difference between going to the Jordan outlet and just being wowed about all the custom Jordans in there. You're like, every shoe in the building is dope. But at
Hmm.
the Nike outlet, you have to search, because in the Nike outlet, it's going to be some dope shoes in there. You just got to look around,
Hmm.
right? And I think that's what this draft is. I think this draft is like the Nike outlet.
Okay.
Like you're going to find some vintage Kyries in there in a colorway that you like.
Hmm.
I think that's what this draft is like. Um, like I think I was talking to IKBM Dre earlier,
Hmm.
and this guy on the screen, Kyle Filipowski,
Yeah.
Flip.
Hmm.
I think he's the next coming of Laurie Markkinen, but maybe better. The upside to
I don't know
me,
about that one.
I know, I know. Do you like Laurie Markkinen?
Yeah, he's all right. Yeah. He
It,
can remember. People don't. I don't remember how many Knicks fans remember this, but that remember this is what got Phil Jackson fired. He wanted to trade KP for Laurie Marketing and Devin Booker.
yeah,
He had that on the table
yeah.
when he got fired.
And James Dolan said, "No, we need a star in New York."
Hmm.
Remember that James Dolan vetoed the trade. The next thing you know, we transitioning.
Yeah, and Phil got fired. And that was that. He was bad anyway, but that would have been the right thing to do
That
actually.
would have been the right thing, bro. And the other trade, for those that don't remember, the Celtics were willing to trade us Jason Tatum and 2 first-round picks for KP, and we
Hmm.
were like, "Nah, man. We need a star."
Yeah.
And
But I will say this: the knee injury did derail KP from being that star probably. Because if he doesn't get injured, he might still be here. Really,
yeah,
there's a possibility of that.
I'm just gonna point out some things about Flip real quick,
Hmm.
that I think are very underrated talents. That if we had a center with just a thimbleful of these talents, I think we're still playing.
Oh, let me say this: I remember I saw him play against Vermont in the tournament. So I did watch Duke play. I saw that live
Okay.
at the Barclays, and I will say he was pretty good, but he really didn't show me anything because he was bigger than everybody else on the court. So that's why I think I wasn't impressed with him. I was more impressed with the guard shooting. So who's that? McCain?
Yeah, and Tyrese Proctor.
Yeah, him and Proctor. Yeah, yep. And then what's the point guard? Roach or whatever his name
Jay
is.
Roach.
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah. That was
They
a
did.
that was a bad combination of
Yeah,
Duke is in transition, bro.
yeah, they are.
Yeah, Duke is in transition. So, but the thing I'm gonna say about Flip is that at 7 feet, he has an uncanny handle. Now, will he dribble the air out of a basketball? Yes, and it frustrates me. That's the part of his game I don't like.
Hmm.
Like I don't like seeing a center dribble, and guards are cutting and all this stuff, and he's sizing up his man. Dribble. Now, can he take his man off the dribble? Absolutely, absolutely. He can take 7 footers off the dribble, right? Now, does he have moves and counter moves in the paint? Absolutely, absolutely. He's got that small forward aspect to him on the perimeter at 7 foot 250, but it reminds you of Karl Anthony Towns a bit with all the dribble
Does he? I'll say this: I've seen him shoot threes, but does he hit them at a high clip? Because I really didn't look at his numbers. Because is he going to
I
be?
think he shot it at like 36% from three.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. And but the thing I don't like about those threes, the thing that I don't like about those threes, bro, is that he didn't get set up for spot up threes a lot.
Hmm.
He did late in the shot clock escape threes.
Oh, well, that'd
As
be
a
cool because you got Brunson. So Brunson, they'll make a play and throw it out to him if he's on the team. And he'll have his opportunity to knock it down because they're not going to pay attention to him until he really starts hurting the other team. So.
Yeah, that's one of the things I didn't like about his game is that dribble escape three. You know the little step, the side step three
That's
late in
that
the
cookie.
shot.
That's that cookie cutter I be talking about.
That training, yeah. Now,
Yeah.
is it is it dope that he has the ability and confidence to do it? Absolutely, right? Absolutely. But do you want to see that man all game long dribble?
No.
Nah. I think in the NBA, somebody is gonna make his game more efficient.
They're gonna make him play like iHeart.
Yeah, and honestly, at 7 foot 248, I think that's probably too big. Like I think that's probably too big for his frame.
Mm-hmm.
You don't the guys that can do what he does. You don't want them adding muscle and then taking away from the explosiveness that they have. Now, will it make them stronger? I guess in context.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
I,
like
I
it's like Mitch. Remember, Mitch got too big at one point.
yeah,
He had to get down. He's at
yeah,
at the right size right now.
bro. He's got the one thing I like about him too is his ability to rebound out of his area. Like
Yeah.
on long rebounds, he can chase down long rebounds,
That's what
right?
you need. You need
Yep.
guys that can rebound.
And once he catches the rebound, I like the way he pushes in transition. Like he's not Jericho Sims. Like
Okay.
you're not Jericho Sims get the rebound and then you have to wait.
Hmm. Yeah. What are his rebound numbers in college? You know.
For a jump shooting big, he averaged like 8.6 rebounds.
Yeah. That's still a little suspect to me. But I get it because of the offense. Like you're not. And also the defense at the same time. But
But
you
he's
know.
away from the rim.
Yeah.
Like
That's
if he was
that's why. Yeah.
yeah, if he was in the trenches scorer like Zach Edey, you would expect that number to be like 12 or 13.
Yeah, because
But
the one thing I know is that if you rebound in college, you will rebound in the NBA.
yep, yep. Yeah, so
So that number 8 is kind of it's borderline, but I understand how they play offense.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I thought I sent my guy. Oh, my bad.
Peace
Man,
to
I thought I
everybody who's
sent.
in the chat. And happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. So, I know the day is over, but
Yeah,
still,
pretty, yeah,
still, some of us is out at dinner right now, still eating.
yeah, man,
So
yeah,
shout out
man,
to them.
yeah, man. One of the things that I also like about Filipowski is his passing IQ. Like he's able to read bodies and anticipate defenses
Hmm.
and manipulate defenses to throw certain passes. Like he is one of the players that throws touch passes out of the post. You
Hmm.
know how he catches the entry pass.
Yeah.
and he recognizes right away if his cutter is open or not.
Okay.
Right when they're not open, he fakes the pass to him to collapse the defense to pass out to another guy or move the defender away from him where he can go into his move. But
Okay.
if the cutter is open, he's not a guy that's scared to throw that pass in a confined space to somebody he's confident will catch that basketball.
That's like iHeart. iHeart does that. Small spaces every once in a while. He'll get it and do it, give you a nice drop. He'll sit there and turn around and he'll throw you a nice bounce pass. He plays with IQ. So I
Right.
figure he's more like iHeart. That's the kind of center they need. They need a guy who can he score? Because eventually these guys, you're gonna have to have five guys on the court that can all do something offensively. I hate to say it, but Mitch is not good at that. He's gonna, and that's where he hurts the Knicks at a certain point because he doesn't have any offensive skill without getting it off the backboard or somebody throwing him a lob.
Right.
He can't
Right.
put the ball on. He can put the ball on the floor. He does it once a year where he'll beat the guy off the dribble and dunk it. And you'll be like, oh, why you can't do more of that? And you see it in the summertime too. But
Right.
when it comes to but you got to be able to implement it into the game, or you're hurting the team at this point.
Right. Just Nick's asks us, is he Kevin Love-esque and Kyle Filipowski? I'm gonna say no because Flip is more of a um I
I would
don't
say
how often
I would say no because Kevin
stout
Love was he was a rebounding machine and he can score. Like
and
he
he
had a
could score
30-30
down
game
there.
against he had a 30-30 game against the Knicks that I watched in
Yeah.
awe.
Saw it live. Yeah, it was
Yes.
amazing, bro.
Yeah, saw that game up in Minnesota.
Bro,
So
that Kevin Love was now the reason why they're not the same is because Kevin Love, his passing is more of an outlet passer. He'll get the rebound and outlet the ball down the floor like Wes Unseld.
and Kevin Love is not an athlete. Kevin Love is a position guy. This guy I've watched him. He's more athletic than Kevin Love ever
Yeah,
is.
and
Yeah,
his footwork, y'all.
yeah.
I'm gonna say just off top, I think once he enters the league, he'll be in the top 70 percentile in footwork. Right, just in footwork, knowing when to pivot. He's got the pump fake bags. He's got the drop steps. He's got the ball fakes. He's got the shows. He's got all that stuff. He is he is a fundamental big man with a little athleticism,
Yeah.
right? And for those that think about if Kelly Olynyk was 7 foot. Think about if Kelly Olynyk was 7 foot and had a bag, right? And y'all know Kelly Olynyk, man. You can't spell Olynyk without NYK. Y'all know who I'm talking about, right?
I think Kelly Olynyk does. I think Kelly Olynyk is more athletic. I think he's more mobile than this guy, though. From what I've seen, Kelly Olynyk kind of has game. Like you got to really watch it. Like he doesn't get to show it all the time. But
Yeah, because he don't have the handle that this guy has, right? Like Kelly Olynyk is not legit gonna want the ISO where he can like I can see this guy getting Joel Embiid on the perimeter and wanting to take Joel Embiid off the dribble, right?
that'd be interesting to see. That's gonna be interesting to see.
That's gonna be interesting. The confidence and the ability, right? The confidence and the ability. Like some guys have the confidence, but the ability not there, and some guys have the ability, but they don't really show it, right? This dude off rip is that rookie that you could think is like, yeah, he could probably do something.
I want to see that because people don't realize how big and wide and tall Joel Embiid is. Like Joel Embiid is bigger than Mitch.
Yeah, and he's more mobile than what people think
Yeah,
too.
yeah, he's bigger than Mitch and more mobile than iHeart. Like he's bigger than both them dudes. So like Joel Embiid is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And one of the things also about one of the weaknesses about Filipowski, and I think we all know this, it's a glaring thing. He doesn't know how to use his strength yet. Like you could see guys his size bump him off the spot, right? Other centers will bump him around. Like I don't know if he's used to the physicality yet. So when he first enters the league, I think people are going to think he's a 4/5 at 7 foot 248, right? And so for the record, everybody, those are the Carl Anthony Towns dimensions, like the dudes that are like 7 foot 248, 247 that can handle shooting touch. Now, am I saying he's Carl Anthony Towns? Absolutely not.
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
yeah, that's saying a lot because ain't too many Carl Anthony Towns in that league.
Right.
And that's
Right.
a one of one.
Right. Right. Yeah. So with the Cal Filipowski thing is if the Knicks draft him at 24, if he's still on the board, right? And if he's still on the board, that means there has been a significant run on centers in the draft, right? Like legit. If Filipowski is still on the board, then you know Sar is gone, Khalil Ware is gone, Eves Misi is gone, Deron Holmes the second is gone, and Filipowski, if he's still there, that means there was a run on centers. Now,
But
are those guys better than Filipowski? I don't think so.
I think that's how I would expect the draft to go. I would expect if he's gonna be the last center taken no matter what of them guys
I mean, I'm sorry.
in
I'm
the
sorry.
first round.
I left out Klingen. I left out Klingen. So Sar, Klingen, Ware, Misi, Holmes, Zach Edey, um, and Filipowski. So I think there's going to be a run on centers, and that's why I think he'll fall to the Knicks at 24. Now at 24,
Tell you the truth, I would expect him to be there at 24. I,
right,
I would.
right.
I wouldn't. It's not gonna surprise me. I wouldn't be surprised if there's two centers at 24.
I wouldn't be surprised either. And the two candidates I think would be there would be Filipowski and Eves Misi. I think.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ware was there also either.
Ooh. Can you explain why? Can you elaborate?
Well, I think a lot of guys. I think he has a motor issue that people don't really like in the league. So as
Right.
talented as he is, he does have a motor issue. So
Right. Right.
guys with guys we've seen guys with motor issues.
They don't last. You remember? Hey, you remember Lauren Woods?
Yes.
Motor
Mm-hmm.
issue, right?
Yeah, from Arizona, center from Arizona.
Yeah, it's seven. Was he 7'2", like 7'3" or something?
Yeah.
And he had a motor issue. He could shoot the three. He could handle a little bit. People were like he was ahead of his time, but he had a motor issue.
Yeah.
And it sounds like the same things people are saying about Khalil Ware. Like the talent is there,
Yeah.
but there's a motor issue. There's a
Yeah.
kid like Khalil Ware has the talent and skill, but the
But
motor's not there.
but if he's on the board, I wouldn't mind taking him too, even though he has a motor issue. I know he's not gonna play a lot, but I can still develop him. So
Yeah, yeah. But you know what though? You know who else I heard that about?
oh
Tyson Chandler.
yeah, and he
And when
turned out to
Tyson
be
Chandler coming out of Dominguez out of California, people was like, he'll be the first 7 foot small forward. He's got
mm-hmm.
motor issues. He don't know. And what it was is at that time they didn't know that Tyson Chandler was basically gonna invent the pick and roll man thing and
the,
be that guy with Chris Paul in New Orleans.
the taller version of Amari Stoudemire, basically.
Yeah, yeah, like before Tyson Chandler, most centers played with their back to the basket.
Yeah.
Right? Can he bang? Can he bang and could he do all those things? But
Mm-hmm.
the evolution of the pick and roll and the roll man
Yep.
kind of made some guys into dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
Dre, what's good, bro?
I'm chilling, man. Salute to you, Freezy. Salute, Andy.
Salute.
Peace.
Salute to the chat.
Peace.
I
Salute.
think you were describing rim runners,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah, rim runners. I think he was one of the first that figured it out and made it the trend. I think Camby was the definition of a rim runner before we knew what exactly a rim runner was.
Right.
Right.
It just didn't really take on until Camby was already a broken down old man. And
Right.
then then it became a consistent trend when Chris Paul turned a guy that had pogo sticks for legs into just being a lob threat the entire time. And then teams started following that trend shortly after Tyson.
Yeah, and Camby never had a pick and roll maestro either.
Yeah, he never
Right.
had one, but the way he ran up and down the court and was basically a 7 foot gazelle.
Yeah.
That was it wasn't common for that time and place in the NBA, and they kind of weren't ready for that.
Actually, they did. They just never really used him properly when he was in
Yeah,
Toronto
yeah,
with
yeah, yeah,
Damon Stoudemire.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Didn't he play with Chauncey Billups in Toronto?
Yeah, but I think I would say it was more the Stoudemire thing first, though.
Yeah, with Steve Nash. Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. So Dre, before you got here, bro, we were talking about how um Filipowski may be there at 24 because he may be the seventh center off the board.
Seven.
Seventh, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think. I
and
think the reason. I think the reason why he may go that far is because it seems like in mock drafts, and it seems like teams' approaches now with this particular draft is that we're just going to aim for the guys with the high ceiling and then try to mold them into what we need. Whereas Filipowski, I don't know. I don't know about Filipowski's ceiling. You think he may be better than Lowry? Lowry averaged like 26 last year. I don't know if he's gonna average 26, but I think he already comes into the league with a developed game, and you kind of already know what he's gonna project out to
right,
at his worst. Whereas guys that are coming in that you're naming like Kalel Ware, and a lot of these guys are like athletic freaks with some outside perimeter touch, and teams are just looking at that like, yo, if we could just get their head on straight, maybe we can get another guy that turns into a Derek White for us, a Derek Lively, not Derek White, Derek Lively for us.
right, right.
I think that's what teams are kind of like reaching out for. But I do like um Filipowski.
Yeah, yeah, man. I think Filipowski, I think his floor. I think he'll be a 10-5 guy off of somebody's bench, like a championship contender, like a 10-5, legit every night, 10-5, and you mess around and leave him open if you want to, he'll make you pay. I think he's gonna be that guy. I think his ceiling is Laurie Markkinen. If if he goes to a team like how Laurie Markkinen did. Remember, Laurie Markkinen played his entire career for a bunch of losers, right? And in those environments, lottery picks are encouraged to go for theirs and develop their game, right? Like if Laurie Markkinen was drafted at that time by, say, the Golden State Warriors, who probably were the champs at that time, he probably would have been more like a Dario Saric, right? A guy that had similar skills coming into the league, similar potential, could do all these things that we say Laurie and Filipowski can do, but didn't develop because of the situation he was in.
Okay. I guess Dre, I guess Dre muted himself. Okay. But I agree.
Oh, I'm muted. My bad. I was gonna say a lot of times it comes down to situations and
Right,
what teams specialize at developing too. Because some teams can develop bigs, and some teams are just better at developing guards.
right, right. I'll give an example of a perfect situation for Filipowski, San Antonio. And I know they pick at 4 and 8, and they're not picking him at 8. I already know that, right? But what I'm saying is the situation where he can come in and be the third big behind Wimby and Zach Collins and follow a similar, well, not a similar development path as Zach Collins, but do things better than Zach Collins, who was drafted to be a Laurie Markkinen type and didn't develop into that.
Well,
Yeah,
I think our situation would be perfect for him too, because we know both the centers are not going to play 82 games.
Right.
They're both going to play 50 to 60. So those other 28 games, he can get his experience and do what he needs to do under the tutelage of the guys that are already here. So
Right.
actually, being here would be a perfect situation for him as well.
Right. Right.
I'm
Because
I'm
he'll be the backup to Mitch when Mitch is starting, and he'll be the backup to iHeart when iHeart is starting. You
Right.
know, when one of them is out, and he'll and Tibbs will play him 20 to 30 minutes every time, like because he's gonna have to.
Right. I
I'm
think Tibbs is
looking
a.
at
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
my bad for I was gonna say I was not to completely detract, but I'm looking around at mocks and they're having like Rob Dillingham going anywhere between 10 and 25, and I'm just like, how is he dropping this hard?
Because he's too small.
Yeah, I mean he's small, but jeez.
He's 6'1" and a buck 60. He's the size of Allen Iverson.
Yeah. Yeah. And then plus two, I think the mocks, and that's the reason why I like getting y'all on the screen so we can talk about the prospects as opposed to just looking at the mocks. Because the
That kid
early
can
mocks are
score
always
though.
going to be wrong.
That kid can score though. That's the one thing I know.
Yeah, yeah. I think he can. I think he can score also. Um, um, Filipowski, I could see go anywhere from 12 to 26. I don't think he's a second round pick. I think anywhere from 12 to 26, depending on how the top of the draft goes. I don't think he's going to fall past the Washington Wizards at 26. They can't.
Uh, I'll say this: I would be careful of letting the Celtics get him.
If the Celtics get him, bro.
Oh
Be
man.
careful, because the Celtics. The one thing I'll say about the Celtics is they go for it. They don't like it. Don't matter what regime is in office. And that's what you got to respect about them. Even though they are who they are, but they go for it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's the difference between them and us.
yeah, like
They don't sit on their hands.
yeah, absolutely. And I was gonna say, like, this draft might be the most. This draft might be the most like common thing. Might be draft for fit. Like you might see some guys jump 10 spots against like draft mocks because
right.
they fit a particular ideal for an organization. I think,
Hmm.
and
Like Deron Holmes II, who's projected to be an Al Horford type player.
yeah, it's gonna be one of those things where you might see guys like jump up like, how did Nisi end up in a lottery? And then they'll be like, oh, because he fit what the organization was looking for. They're not thinking about best player available. They're thinking about best fit so we can
Because
develop this guy.
Chicago, a team like Chicago, needs athleticism in their front court
Yeah,
because they legit tried out Andre Drummond and Vucevic, and their power forward is Patrick Williams, who
may not even be there next year.
yeah, depending on how you view Patrick Williams, you could say he's a diamond in the rough, or you could say he's just not an NBA player.
He's a bust.
Yeah, he a bust.
Dang.
They
For,
reached for him. They reached for that dude at 4,
they
and
reached for
and he was coming off the bench at Florida State,
yeah. They
and
reached for
he
him at
Marvin
4.
Williams, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ma,
yeah,
God.
He'll play 10, 15 years in the league, but for what they were looking for, he that's not it.
yeah. Because for one, they thought he
What if it's just the Bulls thing though? Because people thought Laurie Markkinen wasn't it, and they just didn't really prioritize his development.
But the thing is that they gave him every opportunity to play
True.
basketball and develop him.
yeah.
So it is what it is at this
At
Did
point.
they
some point,
really give him every opportunity, or did
And he
uh,
got injured. Remember, he got injured too.
at
So
some point, you got to take the opportunity and grab the bull by the horns. But at the same time, he
no
was
pun intended?
behind like
Or
who the
no? Pun intended or no?
pun was intended,
Okay,
but
okay,
but it felt like he was afraid to like take the ball out of Zach LaVine's hands or whatever point guard they had at the time or DeRozan, and I guess maybe he couldn't grow because when you're talking about like a wing that's having to be dynamic, you have to take your lumps in terms of your development. Like not every guy is gonna be like Kawhi that's perfect in a low usage role and turns into a superstar.
right.
Like a lot of wings, if you want them to be a superstar, they gotta take their lumps. They gotta look bad for a minute.
yeah, yeah, you got to get it from day one.
Yeah,
Yeah. Chicago just don't develop talent. Period. Let me just say that, just off rip. When Chicago gets a superstar, that star is a star that's born, right? We never saw Chicago. Think about, as long as you've been watching basketball, their star, their best player is usually the guy that walks in the gym and is the best looking player off rip, right? You know what? Let me walk that back because they did develop Jimmy Butler. They did
Well,
develop
Tibbs,
Jimmy Butler.
I'll
But
say
that's
Tibbs. That
Tibbs.
that that's Tibbs. That's not. I'm not going to give them credit for that. I'm going to give
Okay.
that credit to Tibbs
Okay. Yeah,
because
but
Tibbs has a track record now of showing you that he can develop players.
right. Hey, bro, you remember when um Chicago had Bobby Portis, Daniel Gafford,
Hmm.
Laurie Markkinen, um,
What's the other guy that
Wendell
Portis?
Carter Jr.,
Yeah, what's the other guy that Portis punched?
Miritich,
Yeah,
Miritich, Tomas Sadaransky, and Ryan Archidiakono. Remember that?
yeah.
Bro, they had Wendell Carter, Laurie, Gafford, Bobby Portis, and Miritich all in the front court. And they couldn't develop them or get valuable assets for them. That lets you know right then the team just don't develop, bro. They just can't. They just can't develop.
Or
That,
maybe they just don't know how to draft.
that, I
They're
mean,
drafting the
maybe
wrong guys at the same time too. 'Cause
they
if you
drafting
can't,
guys with talent. They just not they're just not developing them. They're not seeing them bloom.
Right, right. And they drafted guys based on potential, like Denzel Valentine. He didn't wind up being anything. They drafted a lot of guys thinking they could develop, but they just Kobe White,
he's
Ayo
developing.
DeSumo.
It. Look, man, Kobe was supposed to be prioritized from day one. It took him 4 or 5. It took. Matter of fact, it took Lonzo Ball being out for 2 years so he could figure it out and develop.
Yeah, and also you got to remember, DeRozan and Levine are in his way too.
Yeah,
So
like and injuries for a host of those guys to give
yeah,
them even the opportunity because as soon as they drafted a 6'5" point guard that is a blur that can shoot, and they were like, he didn't figure it out year one. Let's bring in a bunch of ball handlers immediately.
but the
Let's
funny
draft
thing about
Ayo
Kobe White,
DeSumo.
the funny thing about Kobe White is that he's been on fire ever since he hit them 7 threes against the Knicks. What's that? 2 years
Yeah.
ago?
Oh, and you know what? And you know what? The thing is, I'm glad you mentioned that because um as soon as Zach Levine went out, Billy Donovan prioritized Kobe White, and
Hmm.
then he went around the league two times, right? You know how
Hmm.
you have a good stretch where
Yeah.
you don't know if you're going to be Zach Levine or Emmanuel Quickly, right?
Hmm.
And then he went around the league a second time, and people were like, "Oh man, Kobe White is here to stay. He might be the most improved player." But when it came time for him to do it in March and April, the league had caught up to the Bulls' stagnant offense, and
Hmm.
now you see my man can't even create anything because the coach doesn't know how to run offense in the NBA.
Yep.
Right. So did Kobe White stagnate at the end of this season? Or was it the Bulls need more players? I honestly think they need a coaching change, is what I think.
You could also say he might have been out of gas because it was the first really full season that he played. Like
Yeah,
just
like
being,
he's just been a six man,
yeah,
like the offensive punch, and he's been relied upon to be
yeah.
their initiator, like secondary scorer, and he's never done that until right now. Like he was showing signs at the end of last year, and all of these opportunities are happening because Lonzo has been out every other game. Io DeSumo's hurt,
Hmm.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
and 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 to this point, Levine, if it was any other normal year, Levine would have been playing, but they just took him out because they were trying to field trades for him.
Yeah.
So if they were just letting Levine play, we wouldn't even seen this Kobe.
Yeah. 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 That's
And when
part
you
of the
talk, when you, yeah,
politics of the game, man. It's crazy.
In
and
a way, it was sort of
when you,
like us too last year too, because the Knicks were kind of out of gas when they lost to Miami last year too.
Yeah.
because they weren't
Yeah.
used to playing that long.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you
Um.
see it. Well, you see it with a lot of these teams. They're not used to playing NBA basketball at this time of the year. You know, usually they're home, so you can see kind of in the games that they're running out of gas. A lot of them.
Yeah. Hey, let me. I want to ask you guys. This. What type of ball handler do you think the Knicks need to go after? In order to make a successful championship run next year.
Oh, they need an. I would. There's two types they could actually use, right? They could use the rookie who goes north and south, to the basket and let him do his thing, and just get out the way.
You're
Or you can.
talking about like a AJ Johnson, the,
I
like
would
a
say more like Isaiah Collier.
oh, a more of a physical guard
Yeah,
that's strong,
yeah,
below the rim finisher type guy.
yeah. Like 6'4", explosive. Because I think that you need a little bit more athleticism in the backup point guard. Because you want to crush these teams when they got their backups in. So I want a guy who's 6'4", 6'5", that can handle the rock and just go north and south, and just break the defense down that way. Or you can get the experienced guy like the Mike Conley or the Kyle Lowry type. If there's one
Why
out
not
there,
get both?
well, who's out
Well,
there? That's the question.
I don't even necessarily need a. I don't need a bucket. I just need a quick, concise player. Because once you make decisions quicker, it makes everyone else's jobs easier.
right.
Like
That's
I'm gonna
that's
keep it real
true.
with you. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Derek White does not have the fanciest handle in the world. But when he gets the ball, he makes a decision.
Right.
Either he's shooting it or he getting downhill and he's driving and kicking.
But see, the thing is that the Celtics really don't need that point guard because they can all bring the ball up. That's the one thing that's good about them. Damn, this cat killing mice all over. He had 3 mice in like an hour. Uh,
Yeah.
excuse me. But yeah, back to the point guard. Yeah, they need a guy. They need a guy who can actually just help facilitate at the same time, which Deuce doesn't do.
I, I hope Dante working on dribble handling drills or something, man. Ball handling drills or something, man.
Right.
Because I like he's kind of it's kind of funny. Dante's turned into uh Clay Thompson light for us,
Yeah.
which is cool. Like, but we ain't got no Iguodala on the court to offset the fact that you can't dribble. So
Right. Right.
we,
Or
we,
Draymond. We don't have a Draymond on the court either.
well, I say Julius can put the ball on the floor when he's healthy, of course, and
Yeah.
initiate.
When allowed to.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's not part of our offense where it's like, yo, Julius,
but
do a
they still
dribble
need
handoff
another.
from the top of the key. Where
But they
it's
still
more
need
like
another guy though.
it's
That's the
more like
point though.
Julius isolate, create an advantage, and then spray it out to shooters. That's usually
Right.
what it is.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I love that Julius Randle to Dante DiVincenzo in the corner thing that we saw in November and December. Back when
Hmm.
y'all remember that stretch when we were averaging about 125 a game. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
And in November when our defense was trash but our offense was on fire.
Hmm.
Yeah, it
I,
was looking like the connection he had with what's the shooter that we had with the dreadlock highs? The ball man.
Chris Copeland.
Bullock. Bullock.
Bullock, Reggie Bullock,
Oh,
but on steroids.
okay.
It
Yeah.
was like his
Yeah.
connection with Reggie Bullock, but on steroids, for obvious reasons.
Right. Right.
Because they had a nice little two-man game, a dribble handoff connection game.
Bullock knew how to rotate on. I mean, not rotate, but I'm sorry, relocate on the perimeter.
And
Bullock knew how
Dante,
to he
yeah,
knew how to lose his defender and get open. And I don't think Quentin Grimes provided that.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Dante got better at that as the season got on
Yeah.
further. Where we lost Randall, him learning how to relocate and find his own shot kind of
Mm.
helped us a lot. And I think going into next year is gonna it might be one of those things where some night it might be overwhelming for another team to try to guard us.
Yeah. I'm gonna say the kid AJ Johnson I think is a slick, low key addition because I don't know if the Knicks have a 6'5" guard that's quick twitch, strong, athletic, and explosive
Well,
that has handles.
well, actually, my favorite player in this draft is actually Stephon Castle. I think he'd be perfect.
Yeah,
You
but
think
that
that you think the Knicks are gonna the
he's
Knicks
gonna
come
get
in?
gone early. He's gonna
Yeah, he's
get
Yeah,
gone
gone,
he
early.
gone. He
but
gone.
he's my perfect player because he wants to play point guard. He's 6'5". Actually, he's about 6'6". Like he looks like he's still growing. Like he's
Right.
big fit. Like he's to me he's actually Josh Hart but bigger.
All right.
You
And he
know,
can
he
play point
actually,
guard.
he actually reminds me of when he walks around on the court. He reminds me of Jimmy, but with more skill, obviously. But he looks like Jimmy.
Yeah,
He looks like Jimmy Butler when he's walking around on the court.
yeah, he does actually.
Right.
That's my
Right.
perfect player though.
Right.
And the thing is like you could put him next to Dante on the second unit, and you could have like you have your big backcourt there, and you could and he's still 6'6", so he could. So when Hart has trouble with the guys who are bigger than him, you could stick him on that guy, and you could hide Hart and let him run around and cause havoc on defense with OG. Like
Right.
it's just the perfect fit, really.
I think if we added no slight to Jalen Brunson, but if we added him to the roster, he'll be the best pure point guard on the roster. Period. It wouldn't even be close. Now, is Jalen Brunson an excellent scorer at the point guard position? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not even a conversation. You don't put nobody in a conversation with Jalen Brunson in terms of scoring. Now, because to me, Jalen Brunson is a 50-40-90 candidate on high volume and high efficiency. Right. But if you add somebody with court vision that's a willing passer and wants to get others involved, man, you definitely the Castle kid. But when I mentioned AJ Johnson, I was mentioning guys that are probably going to be in that 35 to
Yeah, you're looking
45
at
range.
38 range. Yeah, I know you're talking about the 38
Yeah,
range.
yeah,
But
yeah.
but see, the thing is, I want to shorten up the roster, and I want to get guys on here in a way that I know can play. I
Right,
still want the back end of the roster to be developed,
right,
but they still gonna need that 9-10 guy
right,
that can do some of that. That's a utensil like a utility knife.
right,
He could do some of everything. He can play offense. He can play defense. He has size range, so you can put him in different places. Like he on the first unit, second unit. That's the guy I'm looking for.
right, right, right. No doubt. No doubt. And and so I'm operating under the assumption that the Knicks won't trade up. And not saying that it won't happen. I'm just like, I don't know what they're gonna do if they acquire Stephon Castle, maybe if they trade Mitch in something or trade Bogey in something to move up in the draft, man, Bogey and some picks or something, or however they manipulate, a trade or whatever with somebody picking in the top five.
Hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them go get them, but would I be excited? Absolutely, for a number of reasons. But at 24, 25, and 38, I think you're definitely looking at the archetype that you're talking about, the 6'5" guard that can beat any man off the dribble with quickness or handles. I
Hmm.
think AJ Johnson is probably that guy that you're talking about. Can he shoot? No. He's not gonna be the dude that can shoot. He can't shoot. I ain't even gonna we not because if he could do all of that and shoot, he'd be the number one pick.
Yeah, I want playmakers. Like you gotta have playmakers. In football you get beat with speed and playmakers. So in basketball you need more playmakers. The more guys that can make plays, the more dangerous of a team you can be. That's another thing about the Celtics. At all times, like it really looks like they got five guys on the court that can also make plays besides shoot threes.
Right.
Because KP can still make plays, Tatum makes plays, Brown makes plays, Holiday makes plays, and White. They all make plays.
I think it's one of those things where I remember Freezy described the last championships Knicks team where they all had guys that were high IQ players that could pass,
Yeah.
dribble, and shoot.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think the Celtics may have kind of bucked the trend in terms of showing you how you can build a championship caliber team.
Right.
It doesn't have to necessarily be just guys that are one-dimensional 3-and-D guys
Right.
because when you run across like a team that can mitigate, like they are, like when they played the Mavs in games 1 and 2, you can see how they made the Mavs role players just look one-dimensional.
Hmm.
Like when they took away something from them, they couldn't pivot, and
Right.
it feels like something like it feels like the Celtics have guys that know how to make plays on the fly and can pivot and have different actions based and react to whatever you're showing them
Yep.
on a
Right.
game to game. And I think it's kind of showing us like, yo, you're gonna need a lot of high IQ guys. You're not gonna win a championship with like having J.R. Smith in your starting lineup anymore. Like it's not gonna work. No slight to
Right.
J.R.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So Payback Carter asked a question, and I kind of wanted to have the like go in that direction with the conversation. I think there are a sect of Knicks fans that think the Knicks are not going to add rookies because they feel like they need to add veterans, and then there are some that are saying, are they drafting and adding depth to the back end of the roster just to keep the existing roster healthy? Which direction you think, Chief? What direction you think the Knicks are going in?
I think they're gonna have to go in with the development of rookies. Like you're gonna have to have. I said the way the league is going, you're gonna have to have 1 or 2 on the back end of this roster. Like that's the way the league is going, because they want you to develop and grow. Like and like I said, when you start touching these aprons, where's the talent gonna come from? Because they're not gonna let you do that. So you're gonna
Right.
have to have some young talent on the back end of this roster in order to get it done.
I
You know.
think I think if anything that's shown us like how the Knicks organizations operate, I think we draft 2 guys and like with the 25th pick we made like give it to another team so we can have a protected pick the following year or something
Yeah.
like that. I think
Hmm.
like for cap reasons, I don't think we're gonna draft 3 rookies. I think we're gonna draft 2 of them and like keep and draft the second rounder one because the second rounder's not gonna make as much money. But I think we're only gonna draft 1 guy in the first round and then maybe take the 24 or 25, depending on that, and kind of punt until next year to maintain flexibility and have it as a future asset. I don't think we're gonna keep drafting. I don't know. Like Freezy, you think we're gonna draft 3 guys? I think we're just gonna draft 2. If you had to ask me personally,
and
how
that's
they would
why
operate it.
and that's why I say moving up is would be the smart thing to do and target somebody and go get them. Because if you're not going to draft, you might as well go up and get the guy. Got 2 picks.
I think they want to hold on to having as many picks as possible. Like we did it in prior drafts where we just punted like our 17th pick, went
Yeah.
back, and then got like a heavily protected for a following year. I feel like that's what we're gonna do with one of the 24 or 25 picks and draft someone in the first round that we really like, and then draft someone in the second round, and then have an extra first in the next draft so we could throw it in a trade or something to that matter to maintain flexibility.
I see it a little bit different. Well, I guess I see it a lot differently. I guess to be honest, and the reason why I see it a lot differently is because your approach to building a team in year two and your approach to building a team in your fifth offseason has to be different unless because if you take the same approach in year two that you took in take in year five that you took in year two, you're sending a message to the fan base that you can't figure it out. That you didn't really have a plan. Because every time you kick the can down the road, you're sending signals to the rest of the league that you're not ready.
Yep.
Right. And if you do that, if you kick the can down the road in year five, if I'm James Dolan, I'm thinking like, okay, wait a minute. In year five, y'all are kicking the can down the road and y'all don't even have extensions yet. I haven't
Yep.
even extended y'all
Is it?
yet.
But hold on, Free.
Dre,
Is
Dre, let
that
me
the
Dre, let me finish my point.
okay?
Let me finish my point. My point is the point that I'm getting at is I think in year five and I'm sorry in your fifth off season you have to be as close to the finished product as possible, even if it's in a comfortable or uncomfortable situation. You have to lock in a roster at some point and be like, hey, we're not chasing Donovan, we're not chasing such and such. This is the core of this team, and this is what we're going to battle with for the next 3 to 4 years. And from here on, we're going to add around the fringes.
Can I respond? Um, did you thought the Celtics were locked in to a core, and then they turned around and traded for two All Stars because they maintained flexibility during that entire time while keeping their core or protect their core at that time. Also,
Right. Right. That's
it's
yeah, but
not
but
it's
it's not
not
it's not
it's
it's not
not
the same
it's
thing.
not it's not entirely
It's not
kicking
the
the
same
can.
thing. Yeah, it's not the same
It's
thing.
not entirely kicking the can because I said we're drafting two guys anyway.
But the
We're just
Celtics
not
thing is
drafting three guys.
but
That's
the Celtics thing is not the same thing. Right? When the Celtics did that, they had already established two guys that were about 23 years old that they knew were top 20 players in the league, right? At the time that they started down this path, of course, they're 26 and 27, or however they're old now, right? But the thing is, they identified two guys that were top 25 NBA players. The Knicks were not in that situation where they have two guys that are top 25 players. And the Celtics have more leeway because they have a history of championships and success. The Knicks don't have a history of any of that, right?
easy.
The
They
Knicks,
have one championship in like 45 years.
okay,
I'm not. They're not relying on that. That's why they made those moves in the first place.
right? They won a championship in '86.
Don't
And
forget
they
So
want to,
'08.
one championship in 39 years.
But they still won in '08.
Yeah,
and they,
one in
yeah,
39.
That's 16 years.
yeah,
One in 39 years.
right, yeah, but 52 is greater than 16, right? And
They have a historical franchise, and but they're not content with just winning one championship every 15 years. They want a
they're not,
dynasty.
they're not,
They want
right,
a dynasty. And
right,
even with that, and they had a core that a lot of front offices would have just kept. A lot of front offices would have been like, we would have been in the finals if Tatum didn't turn his ankle, so we'll just run it back. But they didn't.
right,
That's exactly why I don't think the Knicks should run it back.
right.
Because you
But
have a perfect example of
And
that
I,
a
I,
team that
Freaky, I
got to the
don't think it
conference finals that didn't sit on their hands. They were like,
I think the
well,
Celtics thing is not a good example
I
for us,
don't.
bro,
But is
because
drafting
the two front offices move in different ways. Where
that's very
where
true.
the Celtics are absolutely not averse to taking a risk. They're not. They will
But
take a risk.
right,
Our
and it's
front office is the opposite. They're not taking a risk. They're going to wait and let stuff play out.
exactly. And then,
but
you know
is
what? They're not going
drafting
to win. You know why? Because the two teams that took the risk are actually in the finals.
is
Yeah.
The,
drafting two
the,
guys as opposed to three guys kicking the can though? I don't think that's kicking the can.
Yes, I think it is.
Nah.
I can't explain it though. You won't let me get to the point where I can explain it.
Okay, go ahead. My fault.
So, so,
Go
so
ahead.
the
Go ahead.
reason,
Go ahead, Susie.
so the reason why I think drafting say one or two on guys is a and mind you, there's context to it, right? And if the Knicks kick the can down the road, right, with one of the picks, they would likely take the most valuable pick that they can get a bigger return on and kick that pick down the road. So it'd be the 24 pick would be moved, right? And they would keep the 25 pick and the 38 pick, right? Because they would probably get less in a return, right? And so now you're talking about adding the 20 somebody at 25 and somebody at 38. Now I know it seems like it's only one spot and it's only one spot, right? But it's not just the kicking the can down the road thing with the draft picks. It's also if that's your mindset, then you're also going to do it to the free agents that you sign. You're going to sign them to one or 1+1 type deals to keep cap flexibility so that when a guy becomes available, you'll have that cap space to absorb that player's salary.
right, but Freezy also that's not going to work here because you're not going to run the Knicks like a small market team. Like we're not going to have that. Like because eventually you know us. Like we're going to start getting we get loud and start talking. Dolan get nervous. So,
Right.
so eventually that's not going to work for these guys. So, we're gonna go back to year 1 and 2 where we were frustrated with them because they never showed us what they were doing and they don't speak. So eventually, we're gonna get loud again and be like, "Yo, we're right here at the doorstep, and y'all keep playing games. Like, stop playing games. Like, you either gonna win or
It
you
is
not."
their fifth offseason, bro.
Yeah, we know. That's exactly like. Eventually, we're going. You know, look, you're not gonna keep playing these small market games with this big city team. We don't. We're not doing that.
Right. Right. Especially with very valuable candidates sitting on the sideline that could replace Leon Rose. Now, am I saying replace Leon Rose? Absolutely not. Do I think he's done a great job? Absolutely. But if you're the Knicks, right, and you see candidates out there that are available
Yep.
for that spot, do you let Leon Rose kick the can down the road in year 5 and maybe not beat the Celtics and say the playoffs, conference finals, or whatever it is? If you're a Knicks fan, how patient are you going to be saying that they need 6 or 7 years in order to beat the Celtics?
First of all, they got to get the. You got to be able to touch the Celtics. You ain't even had a chance to touch the Celtics. That's one. And two, next year that you may see them in the second round again. Like,
Mm, mm,
so
yeah.
you never know. So we have no idea how this thing is gonna play out. So that's the thing. This only thing we can do is watch it play out because you know you got to get your hands on the Celtics first. And who's to say
Right.
they're going to be in a healthy situation? Because the one thing we know, excuse the noise, I'm sorry while I'm talking, is that you know these teams, even though these guys are young, it's a lot of games. You know, these guys, you playing in the June every year, you start running out of gas. And you see it with every team that makes it this far all the time.
Okay.
They run out of gas, they play games, they start getting injured. The only advantage is that they have Tatum and Brown who are actually still young. But in terms of games, they played a lot of games. So, will the miles eventually catch up to them? We know it's going to catch up to them in their 30s. But is it going to catch up to these guys, quicker than we think because of the window that's here?
Okay.
Because they still can be had, I
Okay.
think, because of the way the cap situation and the rosters are going to be. Like they can't pay everybody. That's the way the league is now. They don't want you paying everybody. They do not want another Golden State Warriors situation. So, there's always going to be a window here, but are you going to have that talent when the window's open? And the window is actually open.
So what happens if that window shuts on us?
Well, we're going to be. Well, I would say we're going to be very angry because we saw the opportunity there and they didn't take advantage of it. As
Mm,
you hear the bus giving
mm,
the exhaust,
okay.
the bus
Right.
letting one
Right.
go, you
Right.
know, giving the smoke.
Okay. That's interesting, bro. That that's very
Yeah, because
interesting.
what you doing it for? Like, what are you doing it for? You want to, like, that would mean that you're really not trying to win. You're just trying to fill seats. Like, and the Knicks don't have a problem filling seats. They've been filling seats for 20 years when they was losing. It's time to win.
Right. 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 Can you hear me?
Yeah, hey,
Okay. 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 I had a thing going on, man. Something here, but
yeah, but
yeah, man.
I'm also moving in these New York streets, so you hear the hustle and bustle till 11 o'clock at night.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I don't want to say doom and gloom for this Knicks team. I don't feel like it's do or die, but I do feel like there should be a sense of urgency in the
Yeah,
fifth off season of the regime.
yeah, there's an
And
opportunity here.
yeah, even if there's a wholesale change, I would be okay with it as long as it's clearly stated that we have like a direction that we're going in. I mean, And they don't have to do it just for me. I'm saying just so that I can follow along.
But see, the thing is, they showed you the direction they're going in by giving up RJ and quickly, because they could have stayed with that, and
Right.
and we'd have been okay with that. But when you trade those two, when you get OG in here, and then January comes and you 14-2, and you beating the brakes off the good teams, except the Mavericks, you kind of showing us
We and
that,
we and we slept on the Mavericks too. We should have won that game.
yeah, but it is what it is. But also, that's not the same Mavericks team that's the Mavericks team before the trade. So that's a Luka thing. Luka keep beating us.
Yeah, no, Luca was out that game, bro.
That was the game
Oh, that's the
Kyrie
game
went
when Kyrie
crazy,
put up
and
45.
we almost came back.
Yeah,
We almost
yeah.
came back.
Yeah, you're not supposed to lose that game. That's the game, like those type of games you're not
We
supposed to
slept.
lose.
We slept on them, bro.
Yeah, you're right. You're not supposed. Those are games you're not supposed to lose.
Yeah, we slept on them, bro. We didn't even come to play. You could see the energy from day one. They had so many people out.
Yeah.
We didn't even come to play that game, and we got throttled, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then the Orlando game we lost because Jalen Brunson was out.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Yeah, Dre, that's what I'm thinking, bro. Like in the fifth off season, I think if they say kick the can down the road, it's sending me a message that they're not comfortable doing something, and then so it makes me think, well, what are they going to be comfortable with doing if they're not comfortable by the fifth off season?
I think it's kind of where we would defer. I think if we draft three guys, it tells me that they're not comfortable and they just want to draft three guys. I don't think they're going to use three roster slots and three rookie contracts. Two of them, yeah, but not
Oh,
three.
hey, Dre, you know what? You know what? Um, I'll say this: even if they draft one guy, I think they're still going to waste contracts on rookie guys. They'll just be undrafted guys.
Oh, them Trevor Keels type dudes? No,
Yeah, them dudes, them Charlie Brown type dudes at the end of the roster that'd be up and down. You see newsflash,
practice squad guys.
exhibit 10 deal to such and such out of
Practice
such and such
squad.
out of a yeah,
But
like
it's one of those things where if we don't, if, hypothetically speaking, we run it back, right? I think like the first eight of our guys in the rotation is already set.
already set. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
But
Would
see,
you
the
be
thing
okay
is,
would you be okay
you
with
still
that?
got to be healthy. You still got to be healthy, though.
Yeah,
That's the
you got to
thing.
be healthy, but it's still like a guy or two out. It wouldn't change completely our entire dynamic. Now, when we get ravaged by injury, like this year, where it was just absolutely absurd, but you don't make moves thinking about injury.
No,
Nah.
you
Like,
don't.
you don't. So, so that's just a whole nother discussion.
Yeah, I kind of think you make some moves kind of like with injuries in mind, but not like with not the obvious like, hey, game seven, such and such is gonna turn his ankle. But I do think you kind of make moves though, like, man, if something happens here, like if somebody needs a personal day or something, instead of going with a 7-man rotation, I'll use these two guys to fill in for say if somebody have a baby during the season, right?
But see,
Somebody has
excuse me, for I mean, but they did the right thing this year when they got rid of Grimes for Burks, and they filled out the roster. They just ran into the injury. They filled this roster out perfectly this year, and it just didn't work out for them.
right. I'm
We just got more injuries for that.
Yeah, because when you look at the roster, look, they everything was filled out perfectly. The only thing they was they were just a little undersized as a team, but they got
Unathletic, I think.
yeah, they got
That's
the
the word.
scoring off they got the scoring off the bench with Bogey. They also got the backup ball handler with Burks. They
right.
got the guy who plays the defense that Randall and RJ and quickly wasn't doing. They did everything right. They just got hurt. They got
Right.
hurt. Randall got hurt. Like they had the two 20-point scorers, the two playmakers. They did everything that they were supposed to do. It just didn't work out in terms of health.
Okay. Okay. I could agree with that. And listen, the one of the other things too that I would be okay with the Knicks doing, I would be totally okay with the Knicks totally running it all the way back, including Hartenstein. even though I personally don't value the center position, right? I don't think you should spend $35 million on a center position unless you have Jokic or Embiid, right? But my thing is, if they go in that direction, even bringing back Precious and Jericho Sims, even if they decide to bring everybody back and the only veteran addition is Kelly Oubre, I would be okay with that. Right. But if they do that, you gotta draft me 3 rookies. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yo, you gotta your team is like no lie.
And then not only that, it's cheap labor.
It's cheap labor. That's the point that I was gonna get it. That's the point that I'm getting at. Right? You gotta have cheap labor. And I know people say stuff like age is like a fine wine. Well, here's the thing about fine wine and how it ages, right? It's not the wine, it's not the bottle, right? What preserves a fine wine is the cork, right? That's what preserves a fine wine. If you ever had a old ass wine that wasn't aged right, bro, it make you want to vomit. It tastes like vinegar.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
You know what I'm saying? It's disgusting. It's not palatable, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're the Knicks, right? Do you have bring this roster back and then run it back with Charlie Brown, Dwayne Washington, Daquan Jeffries, Jacob Toppin. These dudes, like a couple of those dudes, didn't even thrive in the G League, right? Like for instance, Charlie Brown is a G League star. We know that. Like we know Charlie Brown can hoop in the G League, right? It just don't convert to the NBA floor,
Because he's
right?
27.
Right. But that's what it but that's one of the things I was gonna say about that is Charlie Brown we know is a hooper at a certain level. He just hit a ceiling, right? But what the hell is Dwayne Washington Jr.?
I don't know what he.
His
I don't
pops
know.
played in the league. I remember his pops. His pops used to play for the Sixers.
That's what I'm like. I'd rather pay a second rounder that same salary
That
than
same salary because at least there's
Yeah.
upside there, right? Like Jacob Toppin. Jacob Toppin at 23 or 24 years old, right? You can't talk to me about upside with Jacob Toppin. You just can't.
Mm.
Like and Daquan Jeffries, for what he is a veteran 15th man, right? That's professional, hard worker, do everything in organization. He's the consummate professional, right? But is he one of the top 450 NBA players walking planet Earth?
I think Freezy. I think
Absolutely not.
he's not. But the reason why these guys are on this team is Tibbs needs a particular type of player for his practices. To be absolutely honest with you, Freezy, he needs guys that'll know what they're doing and execute to a T in practice. So his top 10 or top 11 guys are on point every single night. That's legitimately the reason why Isaiah Washington was Dwayne Washington is on this team.
He called him Isaiah Washington.
Yeah. the reason why Dwayne
He
Washington
Grey's Anatomy. That's what.
yeah. There's a reason why Dwayne Washington's on this team because he plays scout team high volume point guard. That's what he does
Right.
in
Well,
practice.
well, guess
That's
what? Get a rookie for that.
Right.
and you get a rookie for that, and Tibbs will blow a gasket because he doesn't know what he's doing in practice.
But
Yeah,
here's
that's
but
part of the
Dre,
development.
while Dre is absolutely right, Dre is right, right? Because that's what they do.
Yeah.
Like for training camp and preseason, Dwayne Washington is going to be that guy. But by the time January get here and these dudes will stop practicing, they're only doing walkthroughs and ballrooms. What do you need
Mm-hmm.
that guy on a roster spot for?
You don't need him,
No.
but preparation from day one is so important to Tibbs that he'll toss out the second half of the year if his guys are prepared from day one.
Right. But that's the
Right.
point. That's the point that I'm getting at. The point that I'm getting at is from January on when your team is preparing for that stretch playoff run, you're
Where you're not
rabid because
where you're not physically practicing as well.
right, right. It's like a lot of us played basketball in high school, right? And there were, and every high school team had this, right? Every high school team would cut a sophomore, the varsity teams I'm talking about, would cut a sophomore that deserved to be on the team in order to keep a senior, right, that knows the system and all that stuff, but may not be nothing on the team, right? Everybody do it. We know this, right? We it's politics, but it's politics that we okay talking about, right?
Yeah, go
Like
play
like
JV.
legit there be a senior that knows where the bus is gonna be. He gonna be his grade's gonna be good. You know he ain't gonna do nothing stupid. You don't have to talk about whatever with the high school senior, right? Whereas the high school sophomore may have just turned 14, right? He might be or may have just turned 15 years old, can't drive, he need a ride to the game, he all of this stuff, right? It's the same thing with Tibbs, but because Dre is right, right? I just want to clarify, I think Dre is right. I think that methodology though, the Tibbs methodology, the approach may be wrong
That's
because
flawed. It's flawed.
because at the end of the day, Charlie Brown Jr. was him and Dwayne Washington were both hurt and out for the season. When you looked at the Knicks injury report, you had Randall on it, you had OG on it, you had Mitch on it, but you also had two of those dudes, three of those dudes at the end of the bench on the injury report out for the year.
Yep.
And even if they were healthy, teams went to 6-man rotation before even
Before
playing cats.
playing those dudes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
That's the
And
point that
that
I was
and that and that's my problem too. Like you can't do that. Like you gotta have guys that can play. You gotta have 15 guys that can play
right.
because it
Right.
doesn't make sense if you're not. It doesn't make sense to have these
I,
guys
I'll
on the
put it. I'll
roster
put it this way
and you're
too.
not playing them.
Injuries or not, like if we had drafted GG Jackson, teams wouldn't have played him.
No.
Hell no.
No.
Even with a ton of injuries, he would not have played him.
Right.
And that would have been the wrong thing to do because as you can see, the kid can play.
Yep. 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 Him and the kid from Cleveland. What's the kid from Cleveland?
Oh,
The one that went to EMU and caught the gun charge.
Imani
Yeah, yeah,
Bates. Imani
yeah.
Bates.
Monty Bates. Tibbs wouldn't have played him either,
Hell no.
right? But I tell you who Tibbs would have played as a rookie, Podzimski.
Yes.
Podzimski would have probably
Yeah.
started over Grimes, bro.
Hell yeah. He'd have
Yeah,
played him.
yeah, he would have played Podzimski, right?
Pods.
Right, and so, but my thing with Tom Thibodeau and the approach, I think it's flawed. Now, mind you, I don't work for the Knicks, and I'm speaking independently, right? Just off of the basketball that I've experienced over my lifetime, right? I think at times you can't give the coach everything he wants because if you give him everything that he wants, then he's basically going to double down. He's going to double or triple down on what he likes to do.
Yep.
And so it's kind of like and this is for the old heads. It's kind of like when um the coach at Oklahoma. Remember the coach at Oklahoma, the football coach at Oklahoma?
Stoops.
Um, no, old school, the one that used to coach the Cowboys.
Switzer.
Barry Switzer. Yeah, Barry Switzer. Bro, bro, they legit recruited Troy Aikman and had Troy Aikman come to Oklahoma, right?
Yeah, to run that
His,
wishbone.
yeah. And here's the thing. He told them Oklahoma people, I want the number one quarterback. I want to be able to throw the ball 4 times a game. Troy Aikman ain't coming in there and throw the football no 4 times a game. He want to throw it 40 times,
Yes.
right? I mean, they were coming off J.C. Watts and all those guys, right?
Yep.
And so they do a recruiting pitch to get Troy Aikman there instead of recruiting guys on defense. So they get Troy Aikman, right? And then their defense sucked. But you gave Barry Switzer what he wanted. And then after that, Troy Aikman transfers to UCLA, right? There's nothing you can do to stop him. Troy Aikman winds up being the number one pick in the draft. And because Oklahoma didn't build up their defense, right? Because they chased Troy Aikman, Oklahoma didn't win another championship until Bob Stoops got there.
Yep.
Right? They wound up firing, or Barry Switzer wound up taking the Cowboys job, right?
Yeah, but don't forget they had to go on probation and all that, because they were doing,
because Troy and some others,
Yeah,
some yeah,
doing
but
what they doing now actually, but
it,
back then you couldn't do it.
back then you could, yeah, but the point I'm getting at with Tom Thibodeau is the same guy, and I joke with Dre about this a lot. Tom Thibodeau is the same guy in a draft that had Jamal Murray and DeJounte Murray in it. Tom Thibodeau chose Chris Dunn over Jamal Murray and DeJounte Murray. He chose Chris Dunn. It's the same draft. He chose Justin Patton over Jalen Brunson. Right? Like for all the stuff.
Yeah,
Oh, Tibbs loved Jalen Brunson. The family go back a million, bajillion, quadrillion, bazillion years. Tom Thibodeau had the opportunity to draft Jalen Brunson with a late first round pick and chose Justin Patton.
yeah.
Right?
You know,
The the
after,
the, the thing about that basically the point that I'm getting at is this. Not that I don't like Tibbs. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is give Tibbs what he wants to an extent, and then the GM, team president, everybody else has to think about the future of the franchise. Right? They have to think about the future. Like, what is this team going? Is this team going to be successful with or without Coach Tibbs? Right?
right.
And so no disrespect to Coach Tibbs, but the Knicks have to be able to survive with or without him.
That's a
And
fact.
can they? And
Yeah.
if you let Tibbs call all the shots, what do you need a front office for?
You're put like I understand your point. Like draft three rookies because if injury happens, he has no choice but to play.
Right,
he has
Yep.
no choice but to he has no choice but to invest into their development.
right,
Otherwise,
Yeah.
you're screwed.
Yeah.
right.
And that's actually what happened. They got screwed because they
But
couldn't get
but my
because
ultimate
they didn't have enough at the, even though Brunson broke his hand, but you know if they had to beat the Pacers, what are you doing?
right. But Chief, my ultimate point is this: if that trade comes available, right? Say Devin Booker's like, oh, I want to go to the Knicks, right? What
Hmm.
players are more attractive in the trade? Daquan Jeffries, Dwayne Washington, Charlie Brown, and Jacob Toppin, or three rookies with untapped potential.
Aha! And this is exactly why you
That's
had R. This is why you had R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel quickly.
right, right. That's the point. That's the point that I'm getting at. Not that the kicking the can down the road strategy is not an effective one, and at a time when you don't know who you are and you don't know who's going to be on the roster this year or next year. What I'm saying is when you kick the can down the road, it sends signals to every in your fifth off season when you kick the can down the road. I think it tells everybody you don't know who you are yet. So maybe somebody's coming, maybe they're not. You're saving your assets because the roster is not good enough to get over the top. And what I'm saying is lock in a roster, tell everybody you are good enough to get over the top. Add veterans at spots 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 12, 13, 14, 15 is going to be young developmental guys that you can bring in that have value in case you need to trade Filipowski and Ryan Dunn and two first round picks for Cade Cunningham.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. That's the thing I'm getting at, Dre. I understand your logic clearly. I mean, it's smart. It's smart. But what I'm saying is I don't know if the Knicks should take that approach. And they may be taking your approach.
So we're gonna find out in a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna
Yeah.
find out because
Yeah.
they also have to make a move on Bogey. Like they have to make a decision on him.
What's your stance on Bogey?
Uh, I have to. I think you have to pay him to trade him. So that's where you have to. You're gonna have to okay his roster spot and give him the 20 million for the.
Or
Uh,
or you could just let him go and sign somebody for the MLE for his contract for
yeah,
that amount of space that he gave you.
Yeah.
yeah. But the thing is that
And that would lean
you're
more
gonna
into
be
that would lean more into what Freezy would want.
Yeah, but this is the thing. You have to know that you're getting that guy for that amount because you can't play that game because you know this is about the money to these
Can
guys
you
too.
play that game? Hey, look, we talking about CAA, by the way.
Yes, I know, but this is what. But don't forget, not everybody on the team is CAA. So, you know, you
Yeah.
still got to.
Damn near 90% of the team is.
Yeah, but that 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 2%, you know, that's still important.
Yeah, and but in the bogey thing, this is how it works. So bogey is at 19 point something something something, right?
Who
The
is
Knicks,
guaranteed?
yeah, right, and
Yeah,
yeah, and the Knicks are $8 million over the salary cap as we speak, right? No
yep,
big deal, no big deal. A lot of teams live over the cap in that under $10 million over the cap space. That's where
yep,
they want to get so they can get all their exceptions and stuff. That's not
yep.
even a big deal part of the conversation. But if you terminate his option, right? Then that puts you 9 point such and such under the cap,
Hmm.
right? Right. Now, can you now when you're under the cap, remember the exceptions are not available to you because you're under the cap. You can't get those mid levels and all of that stuff. As I read it the last time I read it, you can't operate as an over the cap team as an under the cap team,
Yep.
right? So can you sign somebody in that $9 million space that would be occupied if you just let Bogey walk away? Or do you trade Bogey, right, and offer a team like Atlanta the
Breezy, that's untrue. You can go. You can use the MLE under the cap. There's the taxpayers MLE. Then
Yeah, there's
there's
two of
just the
them.
regular MLE, and you can still use the MLE if you're under the cap.
oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah, there's two.
Okay.
There's
Are,
two
are,
mid
are, they,
levels. You got the big one and you got the little one.
but I want to. Hey, thank you for that too, man. I appreciate that. Are they the same?
Well, there's the taxpayers MLE, and then
Yeah.
there's the regular MLE.
I mean dollar value.
No, I think they're the
No,
same. No, they're not the
they're
same.
not the same because the taxes when you're in the tax, that's
The
like what
tax
is it?
one is
Three times. That's
smaller.
like that. Yeah, it's smaller, but it's also like three times. Like you know what I'm saying? So it's
Okay,
smaller, but like let's
It
say it's like
costs you
two.
more,
Like
but
it's like
it's not that much smaller. It's just
yeah,
smaller.
okay, okay. I appreciate that, man. Because the last time I saw it, it was that I don't the new thing, man. It's a lot of reading, bro.
yeah.
But
Because
I appreciate y'all knowing that because
and now
I
you
was
got
totally
first and
wrong.
second aprons.
Yeah.
So not only do you have the tax, but now you got the first apron and you got the second apron. So you got to know
Okay.
all of that too.
So with that said, what do you do with Bogey? Because Bogey will be 35 in season. Bogey will be a 35-year-old wingman.
I'll say this: if they don't have a trade lined up for Bogey, they're probably gonna just drop him and use that cap to sign someone that might fit the team identity immediately, and that might be in that ninth man in the rotation role.
Can I tell you what I would do with it to make y'all laugh?
Go for it.
I would trade Bogey for Torrey Craig straight up. And I know
Torrey
Torrey
Craig
Craig.
doesn't make enough money.
I know what you about to I know what you're about to say there. I
I
would
was
I
just
would
adding in my head. Yeah.
and then nah, it's not even close. Like one dude makes 19 and the other one dude makes like 4, right? But well let me this is the thing that I wanted to add to it. I think I would use the trade exceptions, one, three, or two of the trade exceptions that we have available to us to make the money match.
I don't know if you could do it like that.
You can't use two in the same trade.
No, I don't think you can.
Okay,
Because you know
okay,
the NBA, even though like trades happen all the time, but you know there's still these technicalities that they have that you just can't like you can't do this one with that one and all that stuff. You can't like they put it on the owners now to where you can't do these little tricks no more.
okay, okay. I
That's why
wanted
the
to.
cap is super important now. You know that's why it is really important now.
Okay,
Because
I'm
you
gonna
see the
put.
other, and don't forget too, like when you're in the second apron now, like they put a hold on your seventh draft pick for like 7 years down the road, and they push it to like the back of the first round too. So it's like a whole bunch of mess that they do with this stuff now.
Um, Y'all see where I'm going with the Bogey thing though? Would y'all keep Bogey or would you trade him?
I like Bogey. I would keep him because I know what he can do.
I like Bogey too, man. I like Bogey. Yeah, he's 1 year, 19 million.
I like Bogey, but he's still like 35, 36.
Yeah.
If I could get something of value that's a little bit younger that can help me right now, I'd flip him.
Yeah.
But his main value is the fact that his contract can go right now or it can go later.
At the trade deadline?
Yeah. It, I,
If
I- his on court value doesn't mean anything to the Knicks. To me, I don't think so. I think his value is solely what his contract is.
But to me, he's important for the second unit because he can space the floor and he can score. So for me, the second unit to me is the most important unit that the Knicks have because
Okay.
what are you going to do
To, to,
in the non-Brunson minutes?
but to that point,
Like,
you can't think about your second unit being spearheaded by a 36-year-old that
no,
makes
it's
20
not going to
million.
be. But what I'm saying, it's definitely not going to be. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that he's still important for whoever the leader of the second unit is because he spaces the floor. Like he has a value to that because he can score.
Hey, can
The
can
one
y'all
thing
see that
about the
stuff on the
second
screen?
unit,
Or is that too small? Can y'all see that
yeah,
on the screen? Is that too small?
I could barely see it, but yeah, I see it.
I can see it.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
because
Y- it-
like I said, in the non-Brunson minutes, who's gonna get the buckets? You,
I'm not sure, bro.
that's what I'm trying to say. Who's gonna get the buckets in the
Well, if
non-Brunson
we're okay,
minutes?
if we're healthy, then we're staggering Brunson and Randall's minutes, and that
Right,
answers your question.
right. But at the same time, don't you need the floor spacer so Randall can work?
Is Dante on the court?
Of course, but you still need the other one
Hey, let me clear up something real quick.
Deucey
So,
still exists.
because don't forget Mitch is probably going to be on the floor, and
I'm gonna
he
keep it a
oh,
buck with you. If we were healthy, if we were completely 100% healthy going into the playoffs, Bogey would have been a casualty to not play.
well, yeah, every series is not going to be his series. Like that's the one
yeah,
thing that he would
yeah.
have to know. Like you can't like he wasn't going to play every second, every minute, every series. Like it depends on the matchups. You know,
Um,
But you know Tibbs coaches like everything is the playoffs. So if he would be a casualty in a series, he could very likely like he even pulled Alec Burks and he loves Alec Burks as a
but
spacer.
but Alex Burks was trash when he finally
Yeah,
he had to learn his lesson because he was playing him too much.
I'm saying even though he was trash, the fact that he pulled him means he could live without him in his
hey,
mind.
hey, let me clarify something, man. So the Alec Burks thing is
He had the
is
shoulder.
yeah, Alec Burks told Rebecca Harlow after a game where he had a big game in the Indiana series. I think it's the Indiana series. He said, man, he had been nursing a shoulder
Yeah, he had a
injury.
shoulder injury.
Yeah, he was nursing a shoulder injury. So in fairness to Alec Burks,
He was injured.
at least he tried to gut it out and didn't complain about the injury. He didn't even go on the injury report. So in fairness to Alec Burks, he didn't look like trash for the sake of looking like
Yeah,
trash.
I know
Y-
exactly he was, but at the same time, it got to the point where he couldn't play him no more. And that's why when Dre
Yeah,
was talking about he could live without him,
yeah,
it got to
because
the point.
because of that injury. But when he came back from that shoulder injury, we look like we shouldn't. Without that injury to Burks, I don't think any of these series would have been even close. The Indiana series or the Philly series. And I know we beat Philly what 4 games to 2 or something like that. Whatever we beat Philly. I don't know if a healthy Burks plays in that series. I don't think it's that close. And the Indiana series, if you well, that's kind of tough because we were up what 2 games to nothing against Indiana,
Yeah,
and then we lost 4 out of 5 to Indiana.
yeah. But see, I would say that's more of an OG factor more than there was anything else.
I think
Yeah.
that's a I think that's a Hartenstein issue, bro. I blame Hartenstein for losing that series, bro. Cats can say what they want to say, bro. And Hartenstein, man, listen, if you're watching, I love you, bro. You know what I'm saying? A beige love all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Salute to all the beige dudes out there. But Hartenstein having 0 points in game 7, I don't care
but he ran
what
out.
the
See,
excuse
that's
was.
yeah, he ran out of gas. That's when you're not used to playing this long.
bro, I'm not making, bro. When you 7 foot tall and you can't score a single point in a game seven,
Yeah.
then yeah, I just nah, man. I can't, bro. I can't, bro. And y'all know we've seen bad game sevens, bro. Cats be killing John Starks right now, and that was what 30 years ago. Cats
Mm-hmm.
still killing Starks, right?
Yeah.
For his game seven. And this dude, nobody's even mentioning him having, bro, the layup that TJ McConnell got where Hartenstein tried to poke the ball away instead of slamming that dude through the floor. I was like, nah, get this dude out of here, bro. Get this dude out of here. TJ McConnell went by that dude, and Isaiah Hartenstein raked at the ball, trying to get a steal instead of trying to block that man's shot or fouling him, sending him to the line. Once I saw that, I was like, he Nerlens Noel, bro.
Mm. Putting them in that class.
Nah, I wanted to put him in the Jerome James class, bro.
Mm.
And no disrespect, but when we're talking about, like, we're talking about managing the cap, right? We're talking about managing the cap. If we're talking about managing the cap in a quality way, are you really going to give Isaiah Hartenstein $17.5 million?
Right. That's part of the deal. You know, they say you got to pay to play. You want to win, or you want to, hang around. Hang around 4 or 5. I want to win, so if you got to pay to play.
Yeah, hey, Pastor Jay Pastor Jay says, hey, Isaiah Hartenstein is about to pull a Timothy Mozgov type move. Yeah. Yeah, he gonna walk in the bank and hold it up with with his fingers. He gonna rob the bank with his fingers, bro. He ain't gonna have that with him, bro. He's gonna, yo, man, Hartenstein just gonna walk in the front office and be like, put the money in the bag. You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. I mean, I don't. Yeah, a 0 points in the game.
The
Chief, come
funny
on,
thing,
bro.
the funny thing is how you gonna replace him if he doesn't come back.
Freezy wants to draft a rookie to replace him.
But
Yeah.
see, I'm with that philosophy too because I think you should draft the center even if you bring him back. Because
I want to draft a center anyway, even if you bring him back. But Freezy thinks you can replace him completely with a rookie.
That's not exactly what I'm saying.
it depends on the rookie.
My stance is Tom Thibodeau can develop backup centers. You saw him do it with Mitchell Robinson. You saw him do it with Nerlens Noel. You saw him do it with Isaiah Hartenstein.
Because
So
there's
why?
actually
So
four
so
centers.
so why are we thinking that Tibbs can't develop James Wiseman or Mo Bamba or Jackson Hayes for $4 million?
Mobamba's not a center, but I get what you're saying. But Mobamba's not a center.
Yeah, that's
Well, the requisite to be a Tom Thibodeau center, you have to be tough. Mo Bamba is not tough.
That too.
um.
To
Yeah,
be
and
an
if you
effective
don't
Tom
bring
Thibodeau center.
if Hardenstein leaves, are you bringing back Precious?
I'm bringing back Precious regardless.
Okay.
Now, will his minutes be the same? No, no, I'm not. Precious Achua's rotation minutes are not a priority. Now, him being on the roster is, but
Mm-hmm.
guaranteeing Precious is going to play 15 minutes a night. No, I'm not. I'm not doing
So,
that.
it sounds like you only want to offer him vet minimum because that's the only that description is that of a vet minimum player, and he's not. So,
Okay, if he don't come back by,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? I mean, the thing is, my thing is I'm legit watching the Dallas Mavericks in the finals with Daniel Gafford at 15 million and Derek Lively under 4 million, right? And I'm watching the Boston Celtics, right? I know Porzingis makes a lot of money, but in the first whatever amount of games, they were out there with Al Horford and the dude they got from Memphis.
But see, Freezy, this is the thing, right? Derek Lively is a rookie and he's on a $4 million salary. If he was a free agent, he'd be making what Mitch is making at least.
I right, but that's not but okay, that's a circumstance though.
Mm-hmm.
That's a circumstance,
Mm-hmm.
right? What I'm saying is I'm talking to the money part of it.
I know.
Right. Because think about this. Think about this. Shouldn't Luka Doncic be making more money than Steph Curry? Absolutely. But the circumstance is that Steph Curry is a more accomplished older player. Is it fair? Probably not. But should Luka make more money? Yes. Should Luka Doncic be the highest paid player in the league? Probably. Right. But he don't have enough years to make that declaration. Right. What I'm saying is if Dallas can find a center that makes under 4 and can contribute, I think the Knicks can find a center that makes under 4 and that can contribute, whether it's a rookie or a veteran.
Yeah, well, I said there's four centers in the draft they could get. I would be fine with any of those four.
You don't like Klingon?
They're not going up to get him. He'll be gone.
Then can you name
So,
the 4? Can you name the 4 that you like?
Filipowski, Edie, Ware, and Misi. Like those four guys. Like if they're there at 24, I wouldn't be surprised. If they
No,
took anyone.
I'm asking about the ones that you like, the ones that you just like, not the ones that'll be in their range.
Well, that doesn't. Yeah, for me, it doesn't. To me, it doesn't matter. To me, they're all the same. So it doesn't
Okay.
matter. When it comes to center.
So you like Zach Edey?
I don't like Zach Edey, but I
Okay.
don't hate him either. But if they took him, I would understand why.
So
You
he's
understand?
okay.
You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? So it's not like I know he's not going to play a lot, but when he plays, I can understand it. And unlike Mitch and Hardenstein, you could give him the ball and he could do something with it in the basket. So he can score some offense.
Okay. 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 I think there are 7 centers in the first round that could go. And I mean, I think every spot that they land at would be the ideal situation,
Hmm.
right? When you're talking about um um my guy Sar at 1 to Atlanta,
But Sar's not
Klingin.
really a center.
No, I think he's eventually going to be a center though. I don't think he's a center right now, but I think they'll have to play him at center because of how they have Jalen Johnson. Because what do you do? Move Jalen Johnson to the 3, and then if you move Jalen Johnson to the 3, who's going to play the 4?
Oh, see, Atlanta's a mess.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm. The thing. I'm just speaking to like the circumstance,
I understand what you're saying, but
right? So, but
yeah,
you're talking about Sar, you're talking about Klingon, right? And then you're talking about some combination of Khalil Ware, Deron Holmes, Eves Misi, Zach Edey, Kyle Filipowski. That's 7 centers that would have to go in the top 23 in order for the Knicks to miss out on the center.
they're
And
not going to miss out. There'll be a center sitting there.
I think there'll be 2 or 3 sitting there
Yeah.
when the Knicks pick.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, I told we meet earlier. I said I wouldn't be surprised if there's 2 of them there. I was not going to be surprised. Me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to hold you. The thought of a New York Knicks center making in that money in the high teens turns my stomach. Because of all the positions on this team, we asked that player to do less, right? We asked them to be rebounding minded on offense and rim protection minded on defense. That's it. Basically, that's your job. Play defense and rebound. That's it. Right?
But Freezy, it sounds good in theory until you watch Jericho Sims play basketball. Then you
Exactly.
realize that
Yeah,
it's not that easy.
yeah.
Jericho Sims is not an NBA center, bro. I've been saying that for like 3 years. Jericho Sims is a jumbo. He's a jumbo wing player with poor wing defender instincts.
So he's not an NBA player at all.
If you want, yeah, okay,
He's a practice player.
yeah, yeah. Is he a world class athlete? Absolutely, absolutely. He's a world class athlete, right?
He needs to
But
be doing a long jump at the Olympics or something.
yeah, he should be playing. He might be playing volleyball, bro.
He looked like a volleyball player.
Yeah, but no, and I'm joking about Jericho Sims because I like Jericho, right? I like Jericho Sims, but the point that I'm getting at is every team is not going to be built similarly or in the same, right? Like our team shouldn't be compared to the Denver Nuggets because they're built a certain way, right? They have long rangy athletes at just about every position, and then they have a center that is a hub on offense and a great communicator on defense. right? Is Jokic a great defender? No, he can process the defense though and call stuff out, right? But defensively,
No,
is
his
he
job is to get
strong?
the rebounds.
Yeah, yeah.
And, yeah, because he doesn't block shots.
No, no,
But
because you have to jump the block shot sometimes.
yeah, so
He not a leaper, but at the same time though, I could see the Knicks like shedding half of their center salary on say a Jackson Hayes, who we put in that Nerlens Noel role, that Nerlens Noel occupied under Tibbs, and then bringing in another center to back him up. Maybe a Xavier Tillman from the Boston Celtics, and then having a rookie center back those two up. And I know Xavier Tillman is only 6'8". I know that. I know he only like 6'8" or whatever they list him at. I don't even think he's 6'8". But the point that I'm getting at is go find man. You know who would be nice? Robert Williams. Remember Robert Williams, the landlord from the Celtics? The Celtics he tore his ACL, and the Celtics traded him
The
anyway.
the one in
Time
Portland,
Lord. The Time Lord.
Yeah, you talking about Time Lord
Oh,
in
Tom
Portland.
landlord, Tom Lord. Hey.
but we already got an injury prone big
Center,
man.
yeah.
You want another one?
um, no, not really. But I'm searching for a guy
When he
like that
plays, he's
though.
a hell of a player though.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I mean. Like a guy that you can get because I think he's what Jericho Sims size. He's like Jericho Sims size, right?
He's
No,
six nine.
yeah, I think he's a little
He's,
taller than that.
he's 6'9". Wait, we're splitting hairs. He's 1 inch. He's six
Yeah,
nine, but he has really long arms and he's explosive.
And he's a quick leaper and he's tough.
Yeah, yeah.
He's just injury prone.
but we
Yeah.
already have that. We have Mitch, and Mitch
Mm.
is 7 foot tall.
I don't think Mitch is explosive anymore, bro.
Nah, Mitch is he's got too
He's
many
too
ankle
heavy to
injuries.
be explosive. He's too heavy
Yeah.
to be explosive. They
It's
told
that
him to put on all that weight.
it's that
Not every athlete can put on weight and stay
yeah.
explosive.
Mitch needs to be under 250 pounds to be
Yeah.
his best.
Yeah. And same thing happened. You remember when DeAndre Jordan started bulking up and getting bigger? Remember DeAndre Jordan out of Texas was
Yeah,
just like a coil spring, bro. He was just like he was like a live wire, but then the stronger he got, the more he started getting injured.
More
And
ground based he got.
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden the lobs start going in the stands. And you're like, you know,
I
yeah.
agree.
It's like Blake Griffin, man. When Blake, yeah, oof. Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you who I wouldn't mind adding. Jeff Green.
Yeah,
Jeff Green's
I would
not a
take him on.
center though.
I don't even think he would play here, but
Yeah, he's not a center though. He's a backup four.
Yeah,
how old?
he played center for the Rockets last year, bro.
Yeah, he plays and he played backup center um
You really want that guy playing
For
for the
center?
Denver, for
Nuggets.
Denver. Yeah.
Yeah.
You really want him playing center?
Tibbs wouldn't want him playing center because he wants an offensive rebounder in the game at all times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny. When we went to OG at this backup center, like to close out the Sixers in game 5, I think.
That's because we knew the 76ers were not going to give the ball to Joel Embiid in the post.
No. He talking about in the minutes that they had Paul Reed on the floor. He's
No,
talking
no,
about
was
yeah,
it pouring or was it coming? I think we were coming
yeah.
down the stretch of the game, like to win it. Like we had him on Joel Embiid.
Yeah,
Remember?
but that's what I'm saying though. Like you put him on him because you know he's not going to be in the post. Like you can.
Okay, yeah, I got
You
you. I
understand
got
what
you.
I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
you not
I got you.
if you if
He
I
did go on the post a few times and we doubled him. Like
yeah, but
immediately on the catch.
I'm not gonna put OG in that situation because he's gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
Yeah,
gonna
I
100%
agree.
be in trouble.
I agree. I agree with you.
Like
But
you asking for trouble doing that because like you said you have to double him and now you got to be on the rope and you can't give up the corner three.
right, but Chief, let me ask you this though. Who's the better NBA player at 6'8", 240? Precious Achua or Jeff Green?
I want Precious Achua. I'm not even gonna
I
ask.
like Precious there too. I like Precious
Yeah.
there too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
I wish Precious could actually shoot a jumper or
yeah.
do anything that doesn't utilize athleticism.
I wish Precious would just had awareness, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Precious is
Like
like Bam Bam.
him and Jericho Sims, bro. Bro, you do a dribble handoff, and there's no other player within 12 feet, right? Can you shoot the three or do a dribble pull up? Can you take two dribbles and pull up from 17 feet? I mean, what are you doing? You know,
some of these guys, man, it's the same thing I say
I think
about
it's,
free
I think
throws.
Tibbs won't let him do it, bro. I think Tibbs won't let him do it. For that reason, I don't want to give Hartenstein $17.5 million, knowing that Tibbs is going to limit him.
But
And
this is the thing, Freezy.
But
You
who are you
draft
gonna replace him with?
you get the draft capital, and then you draft Tibbs a center, and he's gonna tell a center to not do athletic things. And then what did you get draft? What did you invest the draft capital for?
right, you saved $13.5 million.
It
But you
ain't
still
my
have to.
money.
Yeah, it's not. But who you gonna spend the money on? You
But
still have to
that,
spend the money.
but I never said don't spend the money. I never said that.
I know, but
What,
what I'm asking you is, what are you gonna spend the money on? Where you gonna find? Where you gonna put that money? Who you gonna
whatever
invest in?
Chief wants, with Chief, whatever you want, bro. No, no lie. I'm serious, bro. I'm serious. Whatever you want, bro. Because the thing is, you can't have whatever you want if you sign Hartenstein to 17.5 million. You just can't, right? But say if Dre likes a young combination of, and I'm just gonna throw some names out there just to make Dre mad, right? Say there is a world where you can get both Delano Banton and Dalen Terry for under $9 million, right? 2 6'8" guards in theory, right? That can dribble and pass, right? That Tibb can bring into this system and help them develop their game, like turn Dalen Terry into a Josh Hart type player, right?
Well,
Basically,
all you got to do is not pick up Bogey's contract and just sign them guys outright.
Or, or you could just draft Keyshawn George.
ooh.
He, that's what I'm saying. He's six
Can I tell you
nine.
who I think
He
Keyshawn George is, just real quick?
he looks like Blanton to me.
Nah, he ain't no. Nah, nah, he ain't the athlete. Now, I don't think he's not the athlete that
Yeah,
Banton is.
he's a little slower, but he looked the same to me.
You know who he reminds me of? And this is gonna sound crazy, but I think he's gonna be the next Kevin Martin. Right? Remember Kevin Martin, the average athlete that was like, he could create his own shot, and you never knew. Yeah, and you like, yo, how is Kevin Martin always so open?
Oh, the one that Mashawn made sit down and practice for 2 weeks. Mashawn
Oh,
McCants.
I don't believe that. I think that dude lying, bro. That dude ain't did that, man. I saw that
uh,
interview. I was like, he lying. You
uh,
know? No, I don't think that man did that, bro. That man always try to make himself out to be more than he. You know what I'm saying?
I know more than he was,
Yeah, yeah.
but if there's a few people who can vouch for it,
Okay.
then you gotta take him at his word for now.
Yeah. Somebody said Alan Krabs. Who said Alan Krabs? Somebody said that that dude is going to be Alan Crab. Whoever said that, I think they're on to something. I think he could be. I saw Alan Crab somewhere in the chat. Now I can't find it. But anyway, I like Keyshawn George, bro. Right, but I don't know if Tibbs is going to play an all offensive center. I mean, all offensive combo guard that struggles creating separation, but is a silky smooth shooter. I think he's going to be a silky smooth scorer in the league, bro. I think he's going to wind up somewhere like Charlotte and come off Charlotte bench for a while, and then before you know it, I think he's going to be getting those Del Curry type. Y'all remember Del Curry?
Yeah, Charlotte
Yeah,
got a lot of guards, man. Like when you think about it,
Yeah.
cause
yeah, they have a lot of guards.
Yeah.
They have my heartstring, bro. Chief, they have my heartstring. Um,
Brandon
um,
Miller.
nah, man. Trey Man. Y'all know
Oh,
Yeah, they
I
got
love
Trey
for
Man.
Trey
They got
Man, bro.
they got they got LaMelo coming back. They have what's the
Brandon
other
Miller. Brandon Miller's gonna play a lot of two.
what's the other kid? McGowan's from
Mc-
Nebraska.
Bryce McGowan's. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's 6'8", right?
He,
yeah,
he was
another
he was
big
playing
guard.
good against us, Freezy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they have a lot of guards there.
The
I don't know.
Nick Smith Jr. Remember him?
Yeah, and then look, and then they're gonna be in the top six and draft another guard.
Yeah,
Woo.
yeah.
I don't
They
know
still
about
have they have Amari Bailey, who I like.
yeah another, but he's a power forward playing guard.
But I kind of like that though.
He's not quick enough.
I think they released him. To be honest with you.
They signed him. He was on a two-way. They signed him to a 1 year deal. Now his contract expired.
Yeah,
I think they may have signed him late in the season,
yeah,
but
Okay.
right now it's showing him as an unrestricted free agent.
yeah.
I also like JT Thor. I know a lot of people don't like 6'10" wingmen that don't really do anything in particular, but JT Thor is young, bro. JT Thor is still 21. Man, they have Pokasevsky.
Yeah, that's it. They got Poco over there. That's what they got a lot of guards over there, man.
Yeah, man.
Lot of guards down there in North Carolina.
Yeah, man. Man, they have a lot. Yeah, man. I wouldn't. I have the Knicks ever pulled off a trade with Charlotte? Do y'all remember?
Yeah, LJ from Mason, right?
Oh yeah, you right. You right. Yeah. Yeah.
See, I
Yeah.
don't think. But see, the thing is, I think the Knicks. But see, that's the thing. Who's going to be the backup? The Knicks need a backup point guard.
Did it hurt when they traded Mason?
No.
Like to the
Nah,
fan
not
base?
really.
Nah.
Not
No.
No.
really.
No.
Not for me. Not at the time. Nah.
It was about time.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Anthony Mason. Salute to the Mason family, man. Love y'all. Much respect to y'all, man. Y'all been super classy over the years and all of that. But the Anthony Mason relationship with the Knicks was kind of like that girl that you dated for 8 months, and for like 7.5 months of it, it was fire. And then like these 2 weeks, you like, I just can't.
Yeah, this gotta go. This can't. This
Yeah,
can't go.
yeah. That's what it was like. Because Mason burst onto the scene. Did he deserve more minutes? Absolutely. At times, was he better than Charles Oakley? Absolutely. Did you have to keep Mason and coming off the bench because of the continuity with the starting roster? Absolutely. Right. Man, Mason was a Knicks great man for a small stretch. Um, yeah, but for Larry Johnson, at the time that we were getting Larry Johnson, remember when we traded for Larry Johnson that same summer is when he had the disc injury at that charity game in DC. Y'all remember
Yep.
the charity game in DC he went to?
Yep.
And he hurt his back, and the news came out that he hurt his back, and
Yep.
nobody could figure out what it was and all of that.
After he was never the same.
He was never the same after that, man.
Yeah, we never got this. We never got the Charlotte LJ.
Yeah, yeah, man.
But we got the 4-point play.
Yeah,
We
we
got
got the 4-point play. Yep.
we got to an NBA Finals with him, bro.
Yeah, we got
He
the
helped carry.
finals. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, he helped carry us. He helped
Yep.
carry us. So
Yep. Marcus Camby, Sprewell, Allen Houston, and LJ.
you notice things happen when the Knicks get athletic, bro. When the Knicks get athletic, things happen, bro.
Yep. Because the
When
same
we
thing
talk
happened
about
when.
being tough, things don't happen.
Yeah. But that's because you got some real players. That's the same thing that happened when they
Well,
got
well,
when they signed J.R. Smith from China.
well,
Yeah.
this is what happens when you make your one of the lead voices in your organization the head coach that was an assistant coach on a tough team.
Oh.
He was an assistant coach on that Knicks team. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, speaking of which, y'all heard Jeff Van Gundy going to the Clippers?
As the second guy
is he
behind
going to the Clippers or
as the second guy behind
Tyloo?
Tyloo. He's
Yeah.
gonna be
I,
second in command.
Yeah, I guess.
yeah,
That's a good
good
move for
luck to
him.
good luck to him. At least he's getting a ring.
Yeah, he's getting the ring. He get his ring tomorrow. You know, I mean, he won't get it
Yeah,
tomorrow, but he'll get it tomorrow.
and he'll earn it tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
because
Being an
And
advisor,
hmm
right? All right. What do y'all think about Gerson Rosas? That's one of the names that we don't talk about often.
I have literally no take on him.
yeah, I think he's the step before you get to Rose. So you know, I don't really. It's kind of like Danny Ainge. He's probably like the the beginning of the deal, but he's not the end of the deal.
What do y'all think about him scouting Jared Culver?
I did see that.
Well, that's athleticism. That's about
He,
it. That's all he got.
I thought he would have been a better NBA player, really. So,
I think he was. I thought he was trash from go. I think
oh,
he
okay.
From
came.
the
I think.
go,
Yep. I thought he capitalized on a moment.
Yeah,
Like remember,
that
remember.
the
NCAA
Texas
run
Tech
was
run. Yeah,
nice.
Texas Tech run. Yeah,
Yeah, I think he capitalized on a moment. But then when he faced up against other NBA caliber athletes, like in the Final Four, you saw all his flaws.
uh,
Right. I remember people were saying that we should have drafted Jared Culver over RJ Barrett with the 3 pick. And I was like, bro,
mm,
Jared Culver? Bro, and but
They
Chief,
thought Jared Cover was gonna be Brandon Miller. That's what they thought.
they
yeah,
yeah,
probably.
they
Yeah.
thought that dude was gonna be Brandon Roy, the way they were talking about him in Minnesota,
Brandon
bro.
Roy.
Yes, the way they were talking about him in Minnesota, bro.
I don't know about that
Yeah,
one.
yeah. I honestly, bro, that's why Chief, that's why I'm saying if I'm Leon Rose, Gerson Rosas and Tom Thibodeau, no disrespect to both, because I don't want to. But from a fan perspective, they can't tell me nothing on draft day, bro.
Yeah.
On draft day, they can't even tell me where the water at. The building could be on fire, and they know the directions to the water. I'd be like, shut up,
hmm
you know, because these are the same dudes that drafted Jared Culver, Justin Patton, and Chris Dunn.
Oh man.
And then you want to, and these are the same. This is the same dude that drafted Quentin Grimes.
Well, they drafted quickly at least.
Yeah, they got quickly. They drafted Obi too.
I think quickly and were the World Wide West pick. So
I think that's a lie.
you think so?
Yeah,
I
I
think they
don't
really
believe that
wanted
one.
Maxi, but
Yeah, that's the thing. They wanted Maxi, but they couldn't go back up and get him. They tried to
Right.
go back up and get him. So,
They could because they were in a position to get him, and then they traded back to pick up second round picks,
they
and
got
then
greedy.
yep, and then couldn't trade back up to get him,
yep.
right? Because I thought yo, no lie. So I saw, and I know I tell this story all the time, and I probably shouldn't just repeat myself over and over, but I saw Quickly and Maxi and Ashton Hagens play 2 times, right? Live. I saw him play live,
hmm
right? The one that looked like the NBA player out of that three, and I'm talking about just walking around and all that stuff, was Ashton Hagens. Ashton Hagens looked like he looked the part, but did you ever heard that saying, "Look like Tarzan, play like Jane"?
He won number 10, right, on Kentucky at the time, right?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah. I thought he would. I thought he might have been a borderline pro too, though.
Yeah,
Like,
I thought he was gonna be people
yeah.
when you heard his name coming out of Atlanta, bro. People thought he was gonna be a star. They thought he was gonna be De'Aaron Fox or better because he looked the part, right? But the most skilled player out of those three by far was Quickly. The most mentally tough out of those players. I remember watching Quickly. I remember Maxi melting down against the South Carolina Gamecocks. They put a taller defender on Maxi, and Maxi couldn't get past him in his zone, and he just started shooting threes and shot them out of the game. And quickly came down and hit like 3 3 pointers and hit a floater in the lane for a 3 point play. They still lost, but
Yeah.
quickly looked like the better player in Columbia on that night,
hmm
right?
It
But
was, yeah. I was gonna say like the reason why they both kind of went that far in the draft or down is they were so similar that they got diminished returns by just playing with one another on the same team. And then Maxi also wasn't a great shooter at that point
at that
in
time,
college.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but you
so
could see
they
Maxi.
they
But
they,
see the
they
thing I remember about Maxi. Maxi was just super talented, and he just had a level of speed that you just couldn't.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it was like this kid is a pro. I don't know what he is, but he's definitely like he needs to be on the roster.
Right. And the other part to it too is so to me it's twofold. For
Hmm.
one, for one, you couldn't see quickly and Maxi's true value because their point guard was trash and they were running an archaic offense. The same thing happened to Devin Booker, by the way. When
Yeah,
Devin Booker was at Kentucky, you couldn't see what he would be because their offense was archaic and nobody created for whatever,
hmm,
right? The other thing too, I think quickly and Maxi would have been top 10 picks if COVID wouldn't have happened and everybody could have went to Chicago and competed in the regular combine situation where you can measure them and see what guys can do.
yeah,
But during COVID, everything was remote and all the guys working out on video, so you can't conduct a workout because you're not in the gym with them. Right,
yeah.
I think that's the reason why we took Obi Toppin is because Obi Toppin was the college player of the year and he looked athletic. But
And
when you
Sam Rosen is his agent.
yeah, but when you looked at Obi Toppin highlight tape, he only had two plays on it. The breakaway dunk where he did the dunk between his legs,
Yeah.
in the open court, and at the top of the key, he threw the ball, the pass to the guy, and they were like, "Oh, look at his vision." That how many players did you know that's a top 10 pick have a highlight tape that only has two plays on it?
You see, the thing about Obi didn't have any game development to me. I never liked Obi as a player for the Knicks. I always thought they should have drafted Devin Vassell really or somebody else, but I didn't think he
Oh
was
my
a
God.
I didn't think Obi was the right fit for the team. And as you can
Did
see,
did did,
he
did
was.
Gmo get to you on that one? Did Guillermo
Nah,
get to you on that one?
no, because we talked about it. Like Obi just
Forever.
and Obi wasn't a fit as we could see
Right.
because it was like where was he going to get the minutes? We know why they drafted him because the front office really didn't believe in Randall,
Right.
at the time. So we know why he was here, but in the big picture things, once you saw that what Randall was, you should have got him out of here the second that you could. You could have got way more value for him,
Right.
but because of nepotism, he was here.
They should have. I used to tell Guillermo they need to do one of two things: either draft Aaron Neesmith because I was a Neesmith fan at that point, right? Either draft Aaron Neesmith because he looked like the best shooter. He looked like the best 3-and-D guy coming out of college in my mind, right? And I thought Devin Vassell was more like 6'4". I
Hmm.
didn't know he was 6'6". And then plus two, I thought Patrick Williams was going to be a better player than him in the pros.
Hmm.
But I was wrong. I'll admit I was wrong. But the second thing I felt like
But
they should have did is Boston offered the Knicks I'm sorry, 3 first round picks for the number 8 pick. And I think the Knicks could have traded back, got Maxi, Desmond Bain, and DJ Augustine. Remember the New Zealand point guard DJ Augustine?
yeah,
That's why I felt like they should have got. I felt like they should have got Desmond Bain, Tyrese Maxey, and DJ Augustine. And I
but
know
but
that's three. They're adding 3 guys to your backcourt.
yeah,
I didn't think Quickly was going to be a first round pick. I thought they should have picked Quickly at 32.
mm,
But come to find out, Quickly is
yeah,
a
he'd have
late
been
first.
gone.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I
going
didn't
back
know it
to
at the
this,
I didn't know it at the time because all the mock drafts said Quickly was a second round pick.
but remember in that draft, right? Well, I'll say this: when I was looking at Vassell, I was looking at it for the defensive purposes of RJ because I needed somebody next to RJ because I was thinking RJ would turn out to be better than what he was.
Right,
So
right,
for me, I was putting the defensive guy next to him to give him some help, on the wing, so he didn't have to always guard the number one wing guy at the time.
right,
So that was
right,
my purpose of drafting Vassell. Now that you see that he's come with the offense, man, it would have been a great pick for the Knicks to have Devin Vassell next to RJ.
right, right. And then plus two, at that time, we were coming off a backcourt of
Hmm.
RJ, Wayne Ellington, Reggie Bullock, and Alfred Payton.
Yeah, which is
And,
another reason why you should have got Vassell because, like I said, you needed the defensive wing help for Tibbs. I was
yeah,
thinking about Tibbs too.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, man. So um um I don't know, man. I'm taking in everything that you guys said, and I do believe there's a world where we could maybe move Bogey and get a guy. But now that when I look at the trades, I was looking at the trades while you guys were talking. I was like listening to you and seeing if I can offer up some support for y'all as y'all make y'all points. Um, everybody that I look at is like on a player option or a team option, bro. Right? Like I'll give you an example of a guy that I wouldn't mind the Knicks having. Caleb Martin from the Miami Heat.
oh,
I could see Kelly Oubre and Caleb Martin for me would be the perfect offseason.
okay,
Caleb Martin can opt out and get paid,
Oh, he
which
gone, bro. He gone.
all
which
right.
I think
So
he's going to do.
all
So
right, so
Yeah.
I have a substitution in the draft. What do y'all think about the Jalen Taylor kid from Cal?
I like him.
Oof.
6'8", offensive. Like you have to work on the defense, but as
Athletes,
the athletes, he might be like the number one kid. Like he might be there at 24, 25 too. So,
Okay. So
we'll see.
what's going to be his role on the Knicks?
well, he's 6'8", so he would be a wing actually. He'd be a wing
I
defender
mean,
who can
but,
give you some
but
offense.
Precious is 6'8" too.
No, but this is a different 6'8". This guy could probably get you 20 points. Like Precious ain't getting you 20 points.
Okay. 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 At 24 and 25, you would say do him and Tyler Smith, the other 6'8" scoring at Tyler Smith is what, 6'10"
Yeah, but
scoring wing?
I like Tyler Smith, but I think I like this kid more because he's a little bit older, I think I gotta have one of those centers. Like if there's
Okay.
a center there, and I want the point guard, but I don't think there's any point guards in this draft. There's only like I don't really see any point guards in this draft
Ooh. We're gonna
that
have
I
to have the
like
point guard
that I
conversation, bro.
that I really like.
We're gonna have to have the point guard conversation because that kid out of Providence,
Oh, Carter.
Anthony Carter's son, Devin
Yeah,
Carter.
but he's gonna be gone. That's why, like, I'm not like I don't even have him in my mind because I can't even fathom how they're gonna go up and get him.
You
You
can't. Okay,
understand what
so
I'm saying?
no, you lost me because when you say no point guards in the draft, you mean no point guards available when we pick.
Yeah, like
Okay,
there's not gonna be one there that that's worth the temptation of taking. And the type of guy that I'm looking for. Like he would be fine. Like if you could go up and get him at 17, like let's say you do a trade with the Lakers, he's sitting at 17, which I don't think he's gonna be at 17 now. Like that's how hot he is. So it is what it is. But if you got 17, and the Lakers is like, yo, like that's a phone call you have to make and get that done. But and he's not even really, he's like a combo guard too.
okay,
Because
okay.
and don't forget he's only 6'3".
Yeah, but he's a stout and athletic
Yeah, yeah,
6'3".
yeah. He's a monster. He's gonna come in and create havoc on defense and all that. But I just can't even think about how they're gonna go up and get that kid.
Um, man, you put me in a tough spot, bro. Because yeah. Yeah, I think you put because I think the draft is loaded with point guards. It's just what's your flavor,
Yeah, but I don't like what I'm seeing though in terms of what I'm looking for.
right? Because uh, give you an example of what I might be looking for in a point guard. Um, to me, to me, um, Castle is good. I think Reed Shepard is eventually going to be a point guard in the league. Toppich is a point guard. Dillingham is a point guard.
See, all these guys,
In my mind.
all these guys are gonna be gone. Like that's why I'm like, I'm not even thinking about those kids.
Yeah, Devin Carter, Isaiah Collier, um,
All gonna be gone.
Bub Carrington.
This is, he might be there, but I think he's hot now too.
Bub
So
can yeah, Bub, yeah. Tyler
yes,
Kolek is gonna be there.
see, this is why the centers are gonna. This is why I think the centers are gonna be there because all those guys are gonna go higher, so they're gonna push the centers down.
Yeah, nah, that no, but what that's the point that I'm getting at is I believe but basically what I'm getting at is there's going to be talent there at 24 and 25.
A hundred
Like
percent.
40 people can't go in 23 picks.
Nope. But the guys that but don't. This is another thing too that I had to learn in football. That I had to learn, as a that when you start getting into the teens and the 20s, right? These guys are not first round picks anymore. Sometimes you draft in second round picks, but you think just because they're in the first round, they first round picks. Nah, this is
Right.
this. So you're not getting no blue chip guys. So, you this is where you gonna have to make the right pick at the same time. So these are not necessarily first round picks after a certain number. So
Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. That dude Jalen Terry, um, is he going to be Josh Hart?
he gonna give you some offense. He gonna give you more offense than Josh Hart.
Yeah, the little bit I've done on him, I didn't really look at him because I'm on the Ryan Dunn, Pakame, Dadier train right now.
Yeah, I get that, but yeah, I'm not on that train. I look for me, I'm right now. I'm about offense, man. If you like this year, if you cannot score the ball, really, you can't do nothing for me with
Right.
this basketball team. Like
Right.
I'm really on it like that this year. I want to hear about no more defense. One thing I know is the Knicks are gonna play some defense.
Right.
Can you
And
score
we
the
gonna rebound.
Yes. My thing
Right.
is, I need a player that gonna make a play and get me some buckets when Brunson can't get me no buckets. If Randall can't get me no buckets, I need another guy to get me a bucket that can make a play for himself to get me a bucket.
I'm getting a veteran to do that, bro.
I know, but I still need one of these kids to develop on the
I,
rookie
I,
side
I
that can
would
get me a
I would
bucket.
do I would do Bogdanovich for Colin Sexton straight up.
That's an undersized guy.
Mm,
He's only 6 foot. We want another.
We
We want to.
already we already we already
Yeah, we
cornered the
got.
market on
Yeah, we
6'4" and
yeah.
shorter.
We gotta get the 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", 6'8" guard. We gotta get that guard.
what are you going to give up to get that guy?
But
Because the guy you're talking about is Zach Levine.
no, I'm not because I'm
Oh,
looking for.
he's 6'5", offense only, create his own
But
shot.
I'm talking about that can run the offense. I'm not talking about a shooting guard. I need
So you need a guy that's going to get you 20 points and
the
six,
potential to give
six,
me two.
six assists.
Yes, I need that type of guy.
So what do you want to give up for Dejounte Murray?
I think Hinton is talking like more a guy in the realm of like Karis LeVert or something.
Oh, Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What are you going to
I
give
don't.
up for Malcolm Brogdon?
But that's what bogey's for. That's always been my target. My target is to get bogey for Brogdon.
Mm,
And like I said, he's interchangeable because he's a combo guard that's 6'5". He plays defense. He's injured all the time, but he can play next to Dante. He can play next to Brunson. He can play next to Hart. Like you need the versatility. You need the size. You need the size versatility, and you
so
need the
you're
IQ.
talking about Dejounte Murray though? Then
I'd take him too if I could. But see, he's a
mm,
starter, so I don't know if he's not gonna want to come here and come off the bench.
nah, he ain't coming off the man. The
Yeah,
players union of man the play.
and
It,
he's for the right price because he's only making 30 million, like for his talent level. Like
yeah,
you actually getting him on the cheap for the next 4 years or whatever, however long his contract starts. Because I know his contract starts next year, but you get him for the cheap.
yeah. You'd have to give up. You'd have to reset your entire draft pick cachet in order to get um a right all-star caliber defender that can run an offense, score, and be an assist man.
So you want Marcus Smart,
Me?
I'd take him too.
but he's also 6'4".
Yeah, he's a leader. Actually, he fits what the Knicks. He fits the type of personality that this team. Another
Mhm.
ferocious dog on this team.
Right.
And, and he would rev up that Celtics rivalry because he loved that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Um. Um. I personally don't have a stance on that. Like that. That's Chiefs' preference. That's not my preference. I think my preference is run it back with everybody we have, and then add rookies at the back end of the bench. I think a healthy Alec Burks is that player that y'all talking about. A 13-point per game scorer off the bench that can facilitate for others and come in the game and play point guard so Jalen Brunson can play off ball. And
That
and
man
you can
signed
play
a clutch, Freezy.
yeah.
I think he got
I don't
Alex
but
Burks has Lakers written all over him.
I
Soon
don't-
as the season ended, you saw the alert. Alec
Yeah,
Burks to clutch. As
yeah,
soon as the season ended.
he's going to the Lakers. I would expect him to be a Laker next year.
yeah, I don't think that's a factor, bro. I don't think they would have traded for him if they knew that. I think the Burks relationship with us is stronger than that, right? And then what are the Lakers going to sign him with? Because the Alec Burks cannot be their major free agent signing.
Yes, he is because they don't have no money.
They don't
Like,
have no money to do
yeah,
nothing, and they don't have assets to trade either.
nope.
Because if D'Lo opt in,
Yeah, if
oh
he's,
my God, they threw, bro.
but that's why he's the perfect vet minimum guy
Why wouldn't he?
I,
for
Why
I
the
think
wouldn't?
he,
team.
I think he's gonna get more than vet minimum. He might get
Yeah,
like the biannual, which is like 5 million, something like that.
But if
I
the
think.
Lakers have space for that, they can give him that.
Yeah, I think the Knicks will offer him 2 for 16, like
I
eight
don't know.
mil a year. And
I,
and I will collapse out of my chair and be mad for a whole. I'll stomp around like a toddler, but I'll
if
get
we
over
did
it by the
that, that
time
would
the
be
season
kind of
starts.
crazy.
I don't even think the Knicks have the money for that though.
Mm. What do y'all think about Bogey for Austin Reeves?
The Lakers is not doing that.
Yeah, they not doing it. I would do it,
Mm.
but they not doing it.
I
Yeah.
would look at if I'm the Lakers. I think it's the perfect opportunity to diversify their because the Lakers' offense is your turn, my turn, and the lack of 3-point shooting. Right, regardless whose turn it is to run their offense.
But he's one of their actual good 3-point shooters.
Reeves?
Yeah,
Okay.
he shoots the three ball very well.
Right. Right.
The Lakers need another guy to take the ball out of LeBron's hands.
Right. And I think Bogey fits the LeBron timeline. Like, get a guy in here that's ready to win right now. And then when LeBron contract is up, all them old dudes fall off and they can just build through the draft. I think that's the reason why Danny Hurley didn't take the Lakers job. Because they're in win now and don't have win now pieces.
Hmm.
Right? Because if Anthony Davis is a superb.
Lakers win now, but Lakers aren't going to win because they're
No,
just
they ain't gonna win.
like because LeBron James is their best player. He's the one with the ball. They're not gonna win with that guy. Like I hate to say
Is
it,
he
but
is he their best player? You think he's better than Anthony Davis?
yes, because he's the one with the ball in his hand.
I think Anthony Davis is better, bro.
No, he's just younger.
Nah, Anthony Davis is probably a top 10 defender.
Yeah, he. I thought he might. I thought he was gonna be defensive player of the year. That's not
I
what I
thought
thought he
so.
was.
Right,
But in terms of how the way they play offense, it's still LeBron James with the basketball.
right,
So they play through LeBron James, right? And
right,
LeBron James right now is a 39, 40-year-old man with the basketball in his hands.
right.
When in the NBA history have you ever seen that work?
LeBron James is the GOAT, bro. He can do whatever he wants.
That's all fine and dandy, but right now, as a 40-year-old, he's like the 20th best player in the league. Like that's not gonna get it done.
Oh, you think LeBron is top 20?
Yeah,
Dre, am I tripping?
he's probably 20.
I think LeBron is top 50.
LeBron averaged like
He did 27.
25,
Like
9, and 8 or something
yeah,
this year. So.
he's still getting more points. He still gets more points and rebounds than Randall.
Hey, he's more efficient than he's ever been,
Yeah,
actually.
and more efficient than Randall.
bro. I watched Lakers games.
He's an offensive machine. He's just nothing on
Actually,
defense right now.
you think about it, like it's funny, but like no, and it's no disrespect, but he might be the perfect fit if he was going to move Randall
Nah,
because of what he could do with the second unit.
nah, nah, man. I
Okay,
can't.
you can't see it, but I could totally see it.
Nah, I'd
But
take
I
Pascal
wouldn't.
Siakam over him right now.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
No,
Nah,
no, 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 no,
I'm
no,
not
no,
going there.
I
oh
absolutely.
no.
I would take Julius Randle over LeBron right now, bro. Absolutely, bro. I think LeBron James is the second best player on an NBA team. I think.
Exactly, he would be the second best player on the Knicks team because he's
Right,
not better
that
than
would make him.
Brunson.
That makes him top 60.
No, that yeah, in your math, of course, but that's not how the math works. He's really higher than
Oh, I'm using Terrence Howard math.
that. Yeah,
Because if he
yeah.
because if he showed up on the Charlotte Hornets, he's immediately the number one
A
player.
player on that team, yeah,
Nah,
If he
not if
showed up on
I'm
the Wizards, he'd be the number one player on that team.
on the Wizards because the Wizards are trash.
yeah,
If he
Right.
showed up on the Bulls, he'd be the best player on that
If
team.
he showed up
yeah.
on Phoenix though,
If he
he
showed
would
up on
be.
Brooklyn, like
If he showed up, he'd be
If
the
he was a
fourth best player.
Raptor, he'd be the best player on the Raptors.
yeah,
Right.
like there's a whole bunch of
If he
so
showed up on the Celtics, he'd be the sixth best player.
No, he'd
no,
be
Yeah.
he'd be
he'd be
third.
third, he'd be
He'd be,
third.
Barely third. I'll compromise with y'all. Barely third.
hey man, Derek White
If
and
he
Drew
showed up,
Holiday can't go to no team that average 25, 9, and 8 right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
No, they can't.
because they don't want to, bro. Is what
No,
they.
no. If they wanted to, they would because they would be a max player.
Yeah, they be on a bad team.
Nah, bro.
If they wanted to, Freezy, they would because that being able to do that gets you max money.
Drew Holiday is an excellent player, bro.
He's an excellent player.
I wouldn't trade LeBron for him right now. If I'm Boston, there's no way I'm trading Drew Holiday for LeBron James.
If they made the same amount of money, they would do it.
Nah.
I think they would.
I think they might be something they
I
think
would
about.
take Devin Booker over LeBron right now, bro.
I can't do that.
I can't do that either.
We wildin', bro. I'd take Anthony Edwards over LeBron right now.
Yeah,
If
I
we're
would
Yo,
if we're
him.
just
Either
yo,
one
if
of
we're
them.
just
I
if we're
wouldn't take LeBron and Anthony Davis for
I,
Anthony Edwards
well,
right now, bro.
are we isolating their season or are we talking about who they're gonna be? Because if you're just isolating who had a better season statistically last year, Braun had a better season than a lot of these guys that you named.
Yeah, he did.
You know
Now, if
what?
you're talking about going forward, because he's 40, I understand
Yeah.
that
Can you
100%.
define better? Can you define better?
Offense, defense, scoring, rebounds, IQ.
Assists.
Yep.
Then because I define better the first in the very first column
And
is
controlling the game.
wins and losses. That's
Well,
how I define better.
They won, but they still won 47 games, right?
like this is they won 47 games, but they were the one of the worst shooting teams in the league. That's not Braun's fault that they can't shoot.
Maybe it's Brian's fault that he can't shoot.
Braun shot like
It was
40% from three this
40% this
year
year.
on
Yeah,
like 6 or 7 attempts.
yeah, yeah. This is
That's not Braun.
yeah, this
It's
is
like his
different.
teammate. Like we've seen what Braun looks like with
Yeah.
shooters. This is not what Braun looks like with shooters.
Hmm.
Like his best
LeBron is the
shooter
GOAT.
was a streaky D-Lo. That's who his best shooter on the team was.
LeBron is the GOAT, bro. I ain't gonna argue that. LeBron's the
That
greatest
man
player to ever play
Anthony
basketball.
Davis learned how to shoot in the bubble and forgot his jumper in the bubble.
Yeah, he left it in Orlando.
Yeah. LeBron James is the GOAT, no doubt, right? It is what it is, man. But nah, I'm not moving forward with LeBron James, bro. I'm sorry.
I'm just talking about a fit on this basketball team. He would actually.
Freezy, if we had LeBron on our playoff run without no injuries, we probably in the
We lose.
finals
We
right now.
lose to the. Yeah, we lose to the Sixers.
No,
No way.
Yeah,
no,
absolutely,
no.
No way.
absolutely. Because here's the thing: where's LeBron gonna play at? If
He's
we
playing
have
the
LeBron.
four.
Well, oh wait a minute. Okay. So you're saying with Randall out?
Yeah, if Randall was
Well, if
out
Randall
and
was
we
out and
had
we
no
had LeBron.
injuries aside,
Yeah. Oh well.
and Braun was at
Yeah.
our
We beat.
four,
Yeah. Yeah. Then
we
that's
we would have
yeah.
swept the Sixers. Let's The only reason we were in the series is because we were struggling to get offense away from Brunson. That's the only reason.
Right. Right.
And this all goes back to my thing. Like if you can't score, like I'm at the point now where if you can't score, you really can't do nothing for me because the defense and the rebounding that's automatically going to show up and come with the Knicks. Can you help this team score enough points to win the game, or can you not be a hindrance on offense to give Brunson space to
Yeah,
work?
because when we're looking at like the Celtics and your contemporary, the Celtics are 1 and 2 in defense and offense.
Yep.
You need an overwhelming advantage at both to compete with something like that. You need to be great at both. Like top 10 is not gonna cut it. You need to be top 5 at
And
both.
and think about this, right? The Mavericks actually beat them the way the Knicks actually play when they won Game 4. They played physical. They out rebounded them when they needed to out rebounded them, and then they were able to get their lobs, dunks, and Luka was able to score in the paint and do what he needed to do. They beat him with the Knicks formula.
But yeah, but the lobs and like that doesn't exist if KP's playing.
Yeah, yeah, we know that. That's why I was telling Freezy. That's why he's the cheat code. Because guess what? That's when KP's playing, he's not in there.
When
He,
KP's playing, their center is nowhere near the paint.
yeah, he's gotta be out there and guard KP. So
Right.
And
Right.
if KP didn't play this entire series, there is no 3-0. It's probably 2-2, or they might
yeah,
be down 3-1 heading back to
to Boston.
Boston Garden. I'm not gonna call it the Garden. Hell no.
Yeah.
Mm, I don't know, boss. I think the Celtics are so talented that we take them for granted.
I've been saying that. Freezy, remember when we talked about right before the playoffs? Remember, I had this as the finals. I picked the Mavericks and the Celtics as the finals.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the Celtics are so talented that we're having the Golden State Warriors conversation before their dynasty started.
No, because I'll say this: the one thing I will say, their top seven is what beats you. But remember, with those first Golden State Warrior teams, they were strength in numbers. They
They
remember
had
you.
Maurice Spates coming in, dropping 10 on you in like
Yeah,
5 minutes.
remember.
Yeah.
Sean Livingston was killing you from the mid range.
From the mid range, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it
they
was a
they
whole
had
nother.
Leandro Barbosa doing
Yeah,
something for you.
Barbosa would come in and get buckets. Like he
Yeah.
was. Remember,
All because Curry was making 44 million over 4 years.
yeah, in the first championship, remember,
Because Steph was making 44 million
and
over 4 years.
Yeah,
You talking
yeah.
and
about the 11
remember,
million? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
remember they had Andrew Bogut at center one year. So
Yeah. They
yeah,
had
like
they had Jaja Pachulia at center.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Nah, no
yeah,
doubt.
yeah, they were strength in numbers. They was 10, 11 deep at that time when they was beating you.
So y'all don't think the Celtics are deep?
No,
They're
they only
deep.
seven. They only 7, 8 deep.
But this is the thing. In the playoffs, you only play 7 or 8 players
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah, that's the thing. Think about it. They play who comes off the bench? Pritchard, uh,
Pritchard, if
Horford
if
when
KP's
KP's
healthy,
yeah,
Horford
yeah,
and
Pritchard, Horford,
Hauser,
and
Hauser,
Hauser. Yeah, those are the only three guys that play.
Yeah.
And
and
then
they can get away with that because
yeah,
in their starting five, they have 4 guys that can play a little bit of point or on ball.
yeah. In the case of emergency, that's when you see Tillman and Cornette play, but they
Yeah.
don't really play those guys
Yeah.
because who's really on like because they don't play what's the guy they don't play Brissett and all those guys they don't play none of those
They
guys.
don't have to.
They
Yeah,
don't have to. They could
yeah,
if they need to, but
yeah. They
because
get
O'Shea, I'd be wanting to call him Ice Cube for some reason. But Brissett, bro, he is an energy wing, bro. That's gonna
hmm
when he's in the game, something's gonna happen.
yeah.
When he's in the game.
He's like a
hmm
wing version of Precious. That's what he
Yeah, they don't play those, but he doesn't really have to play those guys because the first 7, 8 guys are all interchangeable.
and
Yeah.
then when you're talking about Tatum and Brown, they're still super young, so they could play 45 minutes in a playoff game, and it's not really gonna
So they
matter.
hadn't even hit their prime yet, bro.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. They're going to hit their prime early because The playoff games that they play now.
Yeah,
They've
them
already
deep
played.
playoff runs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've had deep. Yeah, they playing right now every year. So for them, when they're 32 and 33, you might want to get up. You might want to get rid of those guys at the time. You might
They'll
start
have
thinking about
they'll
trading
have
them.
4 championships by then, bro.
No, they won't. They might.
Yeah, bro.
This. No, they won't. They're gonna win. They might win two.
2 is a lot, by the way.
And this era is a lot because
Yeah,
Yeah,
two
2
is
is
a
a
the
lot.
lot
last
because
the last 7 years has been a new champion.
yep,
Yeah,
this will be yep. So it's starting to get like football.
yeah. I think that's the end of the parody, bro. I
Yeah.
think I think the Celtics have cracked the code, and the code is get 2 elite wing players, and then fill around everywhere else.
No,
Right?
I'll say this: the cheat code is actually the one that's in San Antonio. That's where the dynasty is going to be, if there's going to be one.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, can I throw out something that's gonna be wild and OD? And I know y'all gonna laugh at me, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
Hmm.
I think the future dynasty of the NBA is going to be the Charlotte Hornets, right? And I know that sounds crazy, right? It sounds crazy,
It does.
but 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 if you
You
look at
really?
what they've been if you look at what they've been trying to do versus what they've actually been doing, they've been stockpiling everybody they draft and bring in is long and rangy and can do multiple things. I think there is going to come a point when all of this stuff clicks, and then all of a sudden you'll see Charlotte winning like 40 games.
Who's
And
the
like, wow,
coach?
Charlotte won 40 games. And I
Who's
think
the?
all they need to do, and honestly, and I think it's going to sound crazy when I say it again, but if Charlotte hits on their pick in this draft, and when I say hit, I don't mean that he has to be the best player out of this draft, right? But say Charlotte drafts Stephon Castle, right? I know they have LaMelo. I know that. I know they have LaMelo, and I know they have Miles Bridges, right? I know Miles Bridges is probably going to sign a lower level deal to stay in Charlotte and all of that stuff, right? But I think the fact that they have the Brandon Miller kid, I think Brandon Miller is going to be something special, right? All they need is to draft um the Salon kid, the 6'10 athletic do it all power forward. If they draft a guy like that and he hits to go with Brandon Miller, now
I
all of
think
us
I'm gonna say this. I don't think Stephon Castle would is a fit for the Hornets.
nah, because they already have a point guard and a tall one
Yeah,
at that.
yeah. I would if I was him. I would be upset going there, and it's not.
He's already trying to force his way to a team that wants a point
Yeah,
guard.
I wouldn't. I
Yeah,
would
like
just.
San
There's
Antonio.
no.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. There's no way I would be happy if I was him going to Charlotte, just because you're gonna have to fight for the minutes. Even though they're gonna give you every opportunity, but just the fact that there's all these extra guards there, it's just like, come on now. Like, what are y'all doing here? What are we doing here? That's the question I would ask.
and what I'm gonna say is look at Charlotte's roster and take into account that Charlotte clean. When you say clean house, bro, you can't have a cleaner house than what Charlotte did, right? They changed owners, they changed front office, they changed coaching staff, and now they're going into the lottery with a top 10 pick.
Who's the
It's
coach? I forgot who the coach is.
um um basically they signed a Willie Green. Basically, I can't remember the dude name, but basically he's like a Willie Green. Dre knows his name. He's from the Celtics. He was on the Celtics
Oh,
coaching
that guy.
staff.
That guy. Yeah, I know who you're talking
Um,
about. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and but if you look at
No.
when you look at where all the Celtics assistants went, Will Greer in Utah, look at how Utah innovates, right? Look at my guy went to Houston and look at what he's doing there,
And man,
right? Look at what the current assistant, now the head coach, is doing, right? You have 3 quality NBA head coaches, right? And Charlotte just hired the 4th. And so to assume that he won't be cut from the same cloth, I think is sleeping on how the Celtics develop players and coaches.
Yeah, they're doing a good job up there.
Yeah, yeah. Dre, what's the coach's name in Charlotte? You remember the coach's name in Charlotte, right?
They hired a coach. I don't even remember.
Is
I'm
it
not.
Yeah, they.
is it Williams or Carter or something like that? Like I forgot. I know I have.
Oh,
I know who
oh,
you're
he's
talking about.
from
But
from he's from
Boston.
Boston, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's a black coach.
yeah. I forgot his name. I know who you're talking about though.
Charles Lee is his
Charles Lee.
name.
Charles Lee.
Yeah,
Yes, yes,
yeah,
Charles Lee. Yeah, they've been talking about him for years, trying to get in the job in the league.
yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah, yeah. So they changed, man. They Charlotte has completely cleaned house.
and this is the thing I'll say about Charlotte too. Didn't they make the play in a couple of years ago?
Yeah,
If I'm
they
not
did.
mistaken. Yeah,
With
they got
Rozier.
they made a play in a couple of years. So it's not like they don't have talent on the roster. Some of those guys are still there. So it would not surprise me. It surprised me that they didn't win as many games as they did this year. I thought they would have fought for the play in this year too. With the
Yeah,
And,
talent
and,
on
they
that
were
they
hurt
roster.
a
didn't
lot.
because Lamelo got hurt
Yeah,
again,
yeah. So
like the year
And
before he got hurt.
remember they started off the year with the Miles Bridges suspension.
Yeah,
hmm
Yeah, so there was a lot of things going against them at the beginning of the season.
there was just
yeah,
a lot of guys that weren't NBA players playing for them.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
They were kind of like Memphis this year.
yeah, yeah, so when you take that into account, am I saying that Charlotte is going to leapfrog the Indiana Pacers? No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, don't be surprised if Charlotte leapfrogs some teams in the Eastern Conference.
I think I think
Teams like
the
Atlanta and
I think
Chicago, they better be on guard.
I think that I think the media really doesn't watch what they really want because the East is not as bad as people think it is. A lot of teams were hurt this year, you know.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I still question if all these teams were healthy. Let's say, like if the top four teams are playing against the Mavericks, if the Mavericks are playing against the 76ers, the Bucks, the Knicks, or whoever, who's the real favorite? You know, in the finals if they were going up against those teams healthy.
right.
That would be the question I ask.
Right. So just real quick, I'm looking at Tankathon. So Charlotte has the sixth pick, and Charlotte can come away with Ron Holland, Cody Williams. You like Cody Williams?
That's a dangerous pick.
I think a situation where they could
He
do
needs some work, but I see the vision though, but
Cody
I just
Williams
don't. Yeah,
Or Ron Holland.
Cody.
Yeah, he's got to get stronger, bro.
Yeah, I don't think he's his brother either.
I don't think he is, brother,
Because
either.
I watched a couple games of him this year. I didn't really see that.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think he's that either. I think NBA scouts know that too. But the point that I'm getting at is a Lamelo, Cody Williams, Brandon Miller, Mark Williams team with Trey Man either starting or coming off the bench is gonna have that punch to it. And the Tijon Salon kid, I think a lot of people have him going somewhere between 9 and 15.
Mm-hmm.
Man, if Charlotte drafts him, I think the future is. I think there'll be buzz around Charlotte, pun intended.
Well, Freezy, I'm gonna have to peace out with you because my phone is about to die.
Yeah, man. I gotta get out of here too, man. Go get me some rest. I
Yeah,
got some stuff, got some transcripts I got to work on and all that stuff, man, tonight. So everybody
yeah,
watching the next morning drive maybe a little bit later because I might have to do a late night joint. But
yeah.
thank you everybody for watching and hanging out with us. I think we all gonna get out of here. Just
Yep.
want to say just one thing before we get out of here. The New York Jets suck.
Okay.
I just want to say that, man. How is Aaron Rodgers not at training camp?
Because he felt like it. He went to all the voluntary stuff for like a month and nobody cared.
Yeah, he's a 40-year-old quarterback. You got
Let
to
that
get that
man
guy
do his
some time. Man,
ayahuasca.
he came from the ACL.
Yeah, that man out here running for president, man. But anyway, that's all I got, everybody. Thank y'all for watching, man. We're gonna get out of here. Peace, y'all.
Peace.